Y'all have heard about this Roger Jackson situation and everything. It's been pretty much everywhere, and there's multiple people that have multiple takes on it, and I'm gonna show their takes, and I'm gonna get my take on it from my standpoint, cause there ain't no way any of that should have went down the way it did. Hold on, now, 1 second. And I'm actually gonna start here with TYT Sports, and then I'm gonna go to JD from NY206. Here we go.
All right, this feels almost illegal to know, but our windows were so old and just desperately needed to be replaced.
What, you don't know me? Hell no. Yeah, hey, hey, I think that's
First off, uh, the beer can, even though people won't say it's a prop beer can, this, that, and third, somebody hits me upside the head with a beer can, and I'm not in on it. I'm gonna be ready to damn swing. I'm just saying.
In a recent wrestling event, Raja Jackson, the son of UFC legend Rampage Jackson, had this happen. Then,
can't just hit a on my goddamn face. I'm dead serious. I'm telling you. I know wrestling is script. I'm talking about what I'm gonna do to the guy.
Raja was told he would make an appearance as he slammed the man with the beer can to his head. Psycho Stu on the ground and wailed on him. Stu would be left
And
unconscious.
that ref
Jackson
ain't worth a
threw more
damn.
punches to his face. Other wrestlers could not believe.
The ref, soon as he got to punch number three, that ref should have dropped him off. Because you could tell by the way that Raj was swinging, Raj was not going to stop swinging. And I'm also going to have Solo Monsters take as well. I'm going to have, let me make this clear. I'm going to have takes from current and past wrestlers. Well, has another guy who looked at it by the name of MTR, and I'll expound more on MTR's take in a little bit. Let's get back to TYT.
What they were witnessing. One man by the name of the Epic, Douglas Mallow, who rocks the pink hair, would jump into the ring and lead the charge in restraining Jackson. Raja would have this to say afterward.
Tired of everybody playing with me and playing and calling me not no bitch, bro. At the end of the day, I'm gonna stand up for myself. Because I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bro.
Notice what he's saying. I ain't nobody's bitch, and I'm tired of everybody playing with me. That's childhood drama. I mean, childhood trauma. Excuse me. When you have your own dad saying, I don't have a college fund for you, but I got bail money for you." In my personal opinion, that there is a father who knows he fucked up. Let's excuse my language. All of this, it's not it's not just on Raj. This is also on Rampage as well for not raising his son any better. This falls on Rampage Jackson. I don't care what nobody says. This falls on Rampage. Point blank, end of discussion, period. Let's get back into it. Let's get back into this.
Bro, where's
Come on, man. We're leaving, man. We're walking away, bro. Let's not finish here. Let's go. Come on, Roger. Let's go. Let's go, Roger. Let's go. Roger, let's go. Roger, I'm telling you, let's go. You listen to me. Listen to me, Roger. You need to listen to me right now, Roger. Let's go.
I'm you shot Joe here.
Let's go.
You ain't gonna do bro.
Let's go, Roger.
Bro,
Let's go.
Then when the dust settled, the epic Douglas Mallow had this to say on a podcast, which was essentially an emergency press conference to recap the events that took place.
It's off. You know, like you're
So, them telling you to watch this and get involved, if this was supposed to be an angle, it kind of doesn't make any sense because you have nothing to do with their storyline or whatever. It seems like they kind of wanted you there just because you're the only one who can shoot, which wrestling means for real fight, right?
it's not like it. Like how you would use a dog. Like, hey, we'll send our and go do this.
But the fact that they told you to watch out and, you know, be ready, and the fact that this had nothing to do with any of the storylines kind of shows that this was premeditated, right?
They call them, but the people in the back are telling me, hey, you need to go out there and make sure nothing bad happens. So I got all this responsibility. But at the same time, if I'm AJ Mana, if I'm the people that told me to go out there, if that's the person I brought, or I know this whole situation is going on, I'd be ready. Great. If somebody told me that Ian had the possibility of having a fingernail being put out of place because somebody might be a little off in the ring, you think I would take a chance of my friend getting hurt? I'd be in the corner of the ring on the very side of the front row. You couldn't move me from the front. I don't know. That's my friend. That's my family. That's somebody who means more to me than anything in the world. I would never let something touch him.
In the aftermath, his brother wrote on Facebook, "Thank you everyone for your prayers, concerns, and kind words for my brother Stu. Please continue to keep him in your prayers. He's currently stable but in critical care. At this time, we're focused on his recovery and appreciate all the support. Also, we currently do not have any GoFundMe set up. Anything posted are not affiliated with us." Mallow would state in that interview he was awake and talking, but he suffered broken bones in his face and lost a lot of teeth and was choking on his own blood and teeth. Rightfully, he was furious.
And he had already, like, ran out of there.
Already gone. And then the only person who met him is a crackhead with face paint who's begging for clout for the man. That whole night, there couldn't be anything more mismanaged in my life than I saw that night.
For sure. So, I'm just trying to get a better understanding of, like, how the show went on. Who took him out of the ring, first of all?
Stu left by paramedics in his own blood, choking. A veteran, a war veteran.
Was he stretchered out?
Yes, he was a load and go criteria.
After that, did the show just continue?
There was kids crying. There was women and children upset.
Other members of the pod would say that Psycho Stu has no recollection of what went down, and he is having trouble maintaining his balance. They also mentioned that a breathing tube may be helping him. Rampage, streaming on his own kid channel, would say in this video that he feels bad about what transpired. He does not condone his son's actions, and while he is his son,
Bullshit, bullshit. You can condemn your son all you want, Rampage, but Rampage, The reason he is this, the reason your son is this way, is because of you. Own up to your fuck shit. Own up to it, man.
Rampage said he would let justice play out. He would refuse to go into details, which he was quoted as saying, "I hope you all respect that." He continuously stated his sorrow for everything that went down, especially for Stu and his family. His tone honestly came off as defeated and also just terribly sorry. Knock X Pro Wrestling Academy would release the following statement regarding everything that went down. First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with our brother, Mr. Stuart Smith, Psycho Stu, as he remains a priority and we are monitoring his well-being. What was supposed to be a planned and agreed-upon wrestling spot turned into a selfish, irresponsible act of violence against Mr. Smith. This egregious act is reprehensible and never should have occurred. In the 17 years of operation, there's never been anything as heinous that took place such as this. We apologize to our patrons and fans. John Layfield, a former wrestler, saw this video and took it to a place that I have not seen the conversation headed at all, in the slightest, regarding all this.
That's what went wrong. Was it not done? 100%. Attempted murder. Yeah, there's no other way to describe it. And, you know, I'm going to give you some caveats about what could have been done, but I want to make it very clear. This is 100% Raja Jackson's fault. 100%. The fault and the blame lies 100% with this man. I feel sorry for Rampage. He seems like a really good guy. You know, his son had a concussion. We can talk about that in a minute. You know, he never should have been there. Should have been in that situation.
Facts. He should have never been in the damn ring.
But 100% this is no matter what happens here, once this guy's out, the fight's over.
Exactly.
It's a fight.
The guy was out, and Raj was still swinging.
He knocks him out, but at that point, it's just attempted murder. But you're hitting. I don't care what happens. I don't care if this happened in the back. The guy's down and out, and you just keep punching him. There's no call for that.
For the Post, Jackson, who is 25 years old, Quentin Rampage Jackson's son, is under investigation by the Los Angeles Police Department.
As he should be.
Psycho Stu, meanwhile, remains hospitalized. As I'm watching this, all I'm thinking, alright, is you have someone like Raja Jackson, who is training in MMA. We have seen some of his sparring videos. He actually took a kick to the head, which was wrong of his sparring partner to do, and then he wanted to get revenge. So, an MMA fighter by trade, his father was a former UFC champion, and he is completely untrained for this. Some guys can do it, others simply cannot. Did they go over the ground rules, let's say, for example, when Ronda Rousey made the transition, and also trained her to be aware of everything that should take place according to the script and can take place if it goes off the rails? Yeah, without a doubt. So to throw Raja Jackson into the fire like this, whoever decided that that was a good idea needs to be investigated, and I'm sure it will be investigated. This is now a very high-profile case regarding someone who has been in the limelight, not just in MMA, but professional sports. So it's him, it's his son, who, by the way, he went on the record even saying that he knew some of his kids were going to college, and he knew Raja wouldn't. Thus, he decided to allocate some of the money that he made to go into his bail fund. He said that. I think we'll be able to...
Y'all heard that right. Y'all heard that right. For his other kids, he got college funds. For Raj, he's got bail money. How does that feel to Raj, knowing that your own father has no faith in you as a man? Sad.
Not only zero accountability, but we are yet to see, and I know that he's likely lawyered up at this point, so he is remaining silent. There has been
He ain't got no choice but to lawyer up.
He has not sent his condolences for what took place, probably because it could be brought up in court that he would say he's sorry.
Yes, and here's my question. Rikishi is half owner. Why hasn't Rikishi said any damn thing? Rikishi needs to say something. Where the FUCK are you?
I think this just goes back to, even if Stu did what he did, which one could make the argument is wrong, though there's a video afterwards from that beer can being placed on Raja Jackson's head, and they both dapped up afterwards and said it was cool and it was fine. What I think led to that, aside from whoever was involved leading Raja into this moment and saying, yeah, you should go get it, is that Jackson kept reading the chat while he was sitting ringside. And I think it was him not being able to understand that this is wrestling and feeding into the chat saying, you've got to get it. And then him
Exactly.
throwing over 20 punches, landing a ton, and knocking Stu, a veteran who suffers from PTSD, that said that wrestling is his outlet, out cold. More news breaks, we don't bring it to you. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYPsport.
And this right here is Soul Monster's take. Let's get it.
I need to share something that most homeowners are completely in the dark about. No joke. Having spent 20 years in
You've all heard about this Raja Jackson story by now, the son of former MMA fighter and TNA star Rampage Jackson, nearly beating a wrestler to death at an independent show. This all happened after I dropped the sound off a day early last weekend, naturally, so I didn't have a chance to cover it until now. There's been a lot of things coming out, new video clips being posted. It's a very fluid story, and there's a lot to unpack. It's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. Now, outside of some of the worst injuries that I've ever seen, this one takes the cake. I've never seen someone nearly beaten to death in a ring before. And it happened at a Knox Pro Wrestling event in Los Angeles. This was last Saturday, which was, at the time, it no longer is, a WWE ID affiliate. It's the promotion co-founded by Rikishi, although he was said to not be present for any of this. His name is still attached to the promotion, though, right? His name is on it. He's been associated with it for the last 17 years. He's been radio silent on all of this. And it all started before the show. Rampage's son was live streaming on a platform called Kick. He and his dad both do a lot of in real life type of streams. Rampage was live streaming on his own platform when all of this went down. He actually got the news in real time about what his son had done at the event. And he was watching the video of it, and you could see his expression change. And then he left the stream. So these guys feel the need to live stream all aspects of their lives. And Raja, who is not a pro wrestler, has never trained in pro wrestling, doesn't even watch it, is not even really a fan of it, was invited to the show by one of the wrestlers named AJ Mana. Real name Andre Hudson. He's the one dressed up in these videos like a member of the Village People. And it starts with a video outside the venue where, before the show, there's a bunch of wrestlers hanging out back. And in the video, you can see Reno Adewale, who goes by the name Black Pearl, who
I'll be back in a second, y'all.
I believe, and actually runs it. He was there. He was right there for all of this. And Raja is standing around outside, and there's a wrestler named Psycho Stu, real name Stuart Smith. He's a U.S. Army veteran who apparently wrestles to deal with PTSD from his time as a vet. And he walks over, and he smashes a beer can over Raja's head. It may or may not have been an empty can, it doesn't really matter. And Raja was not expecting this because nobody warned him. No one smartened him up. Of course, he doesn't sell it because he's not a worker, not a wrestler. And this guy who he doesn't know just smashed a beer can over his head. Now, if Raja would have swung at him and knocked him out with one punch, we're not talking about this story right now. This story is not making national headlines. And there is not a whole lot of outrage over this story, if that's all that happens. Not unless he knocked him out and killed him with one punch, then we are. But I honestly don't think anybody would have blamed Raja for reacting that way in that circumstance. You know, if someone walks up to you and smashes you in the head with a beer can, especially if you're a fighter, your first instinct is probably going to be to take a swing at him, or throw something at them, or whatever it may be. So he doesn't sell it. Black Pearl steps in between them, as does AJ Mana, who
now realizes the gravity of the situation. He's the one who brought this man to the show in the first place. Raja was his guest. It should have been his responsibility to step in and smarten him up. And Black Pearl, who runs the promotion, is trying to explain to Raja, Psycho Stu thinks everything is a work. It's all good. He thought you were a wrestler and everything's a work. And Stu later apologized to Raja 3 times, in fact. A sincere apology once he realizes that this man is not a wrestler. You can even see Stu tell him, look, I'm sorry, man. I saw the camera filming. I thought you were a worker. And after initially refusing his handshake earlier, Raja finally accepts his apology and they shake hands. And it looks like everything is smoothed over. That's where this should have ended.
Hey everyone, Paige Becker's here with NBA 2K to share some very important news. For the first time ever, WNBA cards will be added to my team in NBA 2K26. This means you compare all of your favorite NBA legends with...
It was a misunderstanding. It's like the most boring beef in the world, and it's over and done with, right? Shit happens, you apologize for it, and you move beyond it. Then, we see video of AJ with Raja backstage at the event, where they have decided to turn this into a deal. So, Raja is going to do a run-in during Stu's match, and as AJ says in the video, you're going to run in on his shit and give him a receipt. And he has to, because you remember what a receipt is, right? Give him a receipt and tag that shit. They got a fucking problem with it, I'll run out there. There's so much wrong with this, not the least of which is, according to his father, Raja had suffered a concussion in a sparring session days before this. And he should not have been doing anything physical at all. I don't know if his quote-unquote friend AJ was aware of that or not, but that's number one. Number two, if all this guy knows of wrestling is what his friend AJ has told him, and he had to explain to him what a receipt is, by telling him, you gotta go in there and give him his receipt, tag that shit, right? It sounds like he's giving him permission to go in there and fuck this dude up for real. Just completely irresponsible on his part. And again, this man was his invited guest. He brought him in. He has to bear some degree of responsibility here for allowing any of this to happen in the first place. And the promotion had to know, or someone in the promotion had to know, because the wrestler here is not setting up a spot for a non-wrestler to run in without somebody being clued in about it. I mean, someone gave this man his cue to hit the ring when he did. So the promotion had to know about it or approve of it in some way. Now, I'm not a wrestler, but for a wrestler to tell a non-wrestler that it is okay to get a receipt on another wrestler sounds insane to me. AJ issued a statement later on trying to explain that he was in character when he made those comments to Raja backstage about getting a receipt. He said, everything I said was part of the show. Spoken like someone who knows he could be in a lot of hot water if he doesn't cover his ass. Nobody with a functioning brain believes that. But he may be hoping that the district attorney is dumb enough to believe it because it's pro wrestling. And if you blur the lines just enough, he might be able to create just enough doubt to where this shit won't blow back onto him, even though it should. And he wasn't the only person who bears some level of responsibility here for getting this man hyped up to do something. What followed was actually really sad, because Raja sat there in the front row during the show with his face buried in his phone, scrolling through comment after comment after comment on his live stream feed from people who were egging him on, telling him he has to do something, right? Like, as a man, you can't let that stand. Calling him a bitch. Sitting there for an hour, reading the chat absolutely played a role in this, because when you have a person like this, who is clearly mentally unstable, it does not take much to send him over the edge. And this man is obviously very unstable. So then, he's sitting there on video telling everybody exactly what he is going to do. He's all mic'd up, right? It's completely premeditated. Not just premeditated as a wrestling spot, like I'm gonna hit the ring and take him down, but like popping off about how he's always wanted to hit a pro wrestler or knock out a pro wrestler. Like he's he's openly saying these things. Like, this should be the easiest police investigation ever, with all of the video that's out there of him saying these things in the lead up to the attack. But his followers clearly got him all wound up before he ever set foot inside that ring. And when he did, it was terrifying. He slides into the ring, he picks up Stu like he's nothing. He slams him down hard to the mat, hard enough that it looked like Stu was knocked loopy before the first punch was even thrown. And then the punches rained down. 22 of them in total, almost 2,000 punches. And these were not work punches, okay? And he wasn't pulling his punches. This wasn't like 50% of his punching power. He was punching this man, who was completely defenseless, mind you, not even getting his hands up because, again, he was probably knocked out already. But hitting him as hard as he possibly could.
Now what you see behind me looks like a traditional shingle, but in fact it's this panel right here. This is a metal shingle. All the benefits of a metal roof, what looks like a traditional shingle. Tap below now to check your zip.
Far too often, our creative vision is just out of reach. Introducing the new QRGB panel door. Be ready for anything light tool to capture content exactly as you imagine. As creators, we're looking for cinematic color to capture emotion, a strong key light to brighten up scenes, and most importantly, an intuitive design so our focus stays uninterrupted.
Possibly could. Like, if this happened in the octagon, Herb Dean would have dove in for the stoppage after the second punch. He would have called the fight right then and there, but Herb Dean was not the referee for the match. They may as well have had fucking Paula Dean out there as the referee. She would have been about as useful as the guy who was. He probably had piss running down his leg. We just couldn't see it. And look, I'm sure he was scared to death by what he was seeing. Even if he at first thought it was a work, it became pretty clear, though, pretty quickly that it was no longer a work, and it had escalated to something a lot worse, but he just stood there, waving his hands like, no, get off of him. Oh, yeah, that's really going to help. So nobody did anything. It took 13 punches before the guy in clown makeup got into the ring to try to stop him, and even he wasn't making much of an attempt. Until finally another wrestler, Doug Drago, runs into the ring to get this man off of him, and he busts his own head open with a headbutt trying to subdue him. And you can see Stu laying there on the mat with just blood pouring out of his head. Had Doug not intervened when he did, we would be talking about a murder charge for Raja Jackson right now. Not attempted murder or assault or battery or whatever you want to call it, because he wasn't going to stop. He said in the video before the match he was going to punch this man for real until somebody pulled him off. And even when people tried to stop him and pull him off, he continued to assault that man. He absolutely would have killed him, or at the very least, punched him into a coma with permanent brain damage.
So hell would have.
He would be standing there waving his arms around like one of those wacky inflatable tube men that you see at the fucking car dealership. Stu was not conscious when they rushed him to the hospital. They couldn't wake him up. There was a very real fear that he could die. Raja, who was being filmed for his kick stream throughout all of this, okay, still streaming. They kept the stream going. They followed him, whoever his friend was who had the camera and was filming him. I mean, it really felt like something out of a wrestling show. Like, it's following him as he's being, led out of the building after the incident. And he's in the street, he's walking down the street. And he just starts raving like a lunatic about how he's tired of everybody playing with him and people calling him bitch. He was talking about his father.
Bingo.
There's another clip of Rampage calling him earlier before the beating. Raja is sitting in the front row of the wrestling show. So it happened that night. But like in the clip I saw, they kind of spliced the two videos together because they were both streaming. Again, it's like they're each streaming 24 hours a day. And Rampage is giving him a hard time for hugging some dude. I think it was one of his coaches. I'm pretty sure it's in reference to something completely unrelated to the, incident that we're talking about, the wrestling stuff. But Rampage is just giving him shit for hugging this guy. And then later, as Raja is sitting there at the show, scrolling through his chat, he makes the comment, watch, my dad can't never call me a bitch. So after everything happens and he's leaving and walking down the street completely unhinged, and he's screaming about people calling him a bitch, I'm telling you, he's talking about his dad. In some way, part of this was him proving to his father that he's no bitch. Like, watch what I
Yeah,
do, I'll show.
basically.
This is someone with severe daddy issues and a lot of pent-up rage inside of him.
Yep.
He was a powder keg waiting to explode, and from the moment that beer can
Yep.
smacked him in the head, that lit the fuse. Now, Stu diffused it with the apology, but then the cowboy, good old AJ, he lit it back up again when he told him to go get his receipt. And it was only a matter of time before he exploded after that. There are a lot of people who bear responsibility for this, and even if you believe that Psycho Stu should bear some of that too. That Stu did earlier that day warranted what we saw in that video. Nothing. And anyone trying to blame the victim here is just as disgusting as this piece of shit is. Like, how morally bankrupt do you need to be to make any kind of excuse for what we saw in that ring? Now, the LAPD is investigating the incident. Meanwhile, Raja's still walking around a free man.
For
Maybe
now.
not for much longer. Hopefully not for much longer. Someone that volatile should not be walking the streets. Knox Pro issued a statement later on that reads, "First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with our brother, Mr. Stuart Smith, Psycho Stu, as he remains a priority, and we are monitoring his well-being. What was supposed to be a planned and agreed-upon wrestling spot turned into a selfish, irresponsible act of violence against Mr. Smith. This egregious act is reprehensible and never should have occurred. In the 17 years of operation of Knox Pro Wrestling Academy, there has never been anything as heinous to take place as this, and we apologize to our patrons and our fans." They have since, rightfully, been stripped of their WWE ID designation. I mean, that was a no-brainer. Not only because WWE would want to do everything in its power to distance themselves from this school and this promotion, but because when you accept a designation like this, there should be certain expectations, one would think, that you are going to conduct your business in such a way that aligns with a designation like that, and Knox Pro failed to do that. From using a non-wrestler in a wrestling angle without even going over what it was that they were supposed to be doing, to the assault itself, and then the way that it was handled, to one of the wrestlers covering Psycho Stu in the video as he laid there unconscious, literally choking on his own blood and teeth, so that the referee could count the three. Because, kayfabe, I guess. The man is laying there dying, but let's count the fucking fall. When you are given the WWE designation, the ID designation, in theory, you are being given their seal of approval, that this is a credible group where people can safely learn, right, and train and be prepared for the next phase of their career. And everything about this screamed like amateur as it can get. So WWE had no choice but to make an example out of them. Now, Stu's brother, Andrew, posted on Monday that Stu is stable but in critical care. He only has some recollection of what happened from early parts of the day. The latest update on Wednesday is that he is talking a little bit, he's alert, but he still has injuries that, while not life-threatening at this point, are still very serious. But it did come with a photo of him sitting up in his hospital bed surrounded by friends, which was nice to see. A GoFundMe page has been set up to assist with medical expenses and a loss of income. Obviously, he's not going to be able to work for a while. I don't believe wrestling was his full-time career, but whatever else he does, he will not be doing it for a while at the very least. Last I checked, this is as of late day Wednesday, it had raised over $150,000. Mr. Beast, who has over 420 million subscribers on YouTube alone, became aware of the incident because it made national news. And I saw that he dropped 10 grand alone on the campaign. So he's been getting a lot of support. Then there's the legal aspect of this. Now, legally, the question should not be if he will face punishment for what he did, but how stiff that punishment is going to be. And it shouldn't matter whether somebody wants to press charges. I see some people asking, is he going to press charges? Do they need him to press charges? What you see in that video, I mean, at the very least, is clearly battery. The question becomes, in the state of California, how do you define attempted murder? Which is what this looked like. I mean, if you watch this video, right, you don't have to be a lawyer, just as a layman person, you watch this video and it looks like you were watching an attempted murder. But that boils down to intent. You need to be able to prove that he intended to kill this man, not to seriously injure him, to kill him. So the intent to inflict bodily harm, that's not enough. I would argue 2 dozen shots to the skull to a man who was clearly knocked out and unable to defend himself. And again, he wasn't going to stop if somebody didn't intervene. That tells me he was pretty intent on ending that man. Once those emotions took over and the adrenaline kicked in, but proving intent, it looks like that's going to be a heavy lift. So, if he was to be charged with a crime here, he could be looking at felony battery. And a felony battery conviction in California, from what I've seen, may result from a sentence of up to 4 years in prison. So even if he gets locked up, it's not like he's doing 25 to life or anything like that. It'll be very interesting to see if he is charged, if he tries to use the concussion as part of his defense. As his father brought up in that statement. I mean, it would be a hell of a reach. But I mean, that's what lawyers do. They defend their clients. For him not to be charged with a crime here for what he did would be just an absolute injustice. And then you consider the civil aspect of this, where he could be sued by Psycho Stu for what he did. And that, to me, I mean, that's a slam dunk case if he does. Stu might even have a case against the people at Knox Pro if he wanted to pursue it. But what an unsafe work environment that turned out to be. They come off looking.
And tell you the truth, he could have a case against the AJ person, because the AJ person was the one who brought Ross Jackson there. Ross Jackson was a guest of the AJ person. Let's get back into this.
Bad enough when it comes to how we even got to this point in the first place. But then on the Scaling Up podcast, it was alleged by a former talent there named Ian that the promotion has instructed those who work there not to speak with the authorities or any attorneys should they reach out to them. Instead, they said
what?
Promotion first for...
Wait a minute. A crime was committed. And you got management telling you not to cooperate with the police. Do y'all know that if there's a crime being committed and you know what happened and you know what happens and you don't tell the police, do y'all not know that's considered impeding an investigation? Do y'all not know that? Just a question. Let's get back into this.
Guidance. And in the podcast video, they show screenshots allegedly from Kevin Thomas, aka KT King, instructing people to, quote, please refrain from engaging in comment sections on social media posts about this tragedy. It will be weaponized in potential criminal and civil cases. Fly low. Another text advised if law enforcement or an
Of course there's going to be civil and criminal cases in this. What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
attorney for the suspect contacts you in any capacity, let someone here know right away for guidance on how to address them. So don't talk to the cops, talk to us first. That sounds like something that a company would tell its employees if they had any sort of legal exposure, or they thought they might be sued if there was some kind of incident, so that they can direct all inquiries to their own lawyers. Right? A lot of companies have their own firm that they contract with, or maybe internally they have their own lawyers. Pro wrestlers, though, are not employees. They're
independent contractors,
and telling them not to talk to the cops if they reach out. These wrestlers are under no obligation to listen to anything these people have to say.
Fuck no.
It should not be about protecting Knox Pro. They need to be held liable for what happened just the same as Raja does. What that looks like, I don't know. But they definitely bear a lot of responsibility here as well. Now, Doug Drago, the guy who finally pulled Raja off of Stu, he worked for Knox Pro for 3 years. He was on that same podcast to talk about the incident. He doesn't work there anymore because, like he says, they would watch me die. These people showed that they would just watch me die. How can I trust you with my body after something like this?
Talk about
He
it.
also said that while he doesn't like Rajan, he thinks he's a shit person for what he did. AJ Mana is a bigger shit person for gassing him up and causing him to ruin his own life. And in his view, AJ ruined 2 people's lives that night. And he's not wrong. In
Nope.
fact, he's absolutely right.
He's 100% right.
His role in this as well. I don't know that he will be punished legally, but at the very least, no promotion should want to work with him after this. I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to happen. There are people in the wrestling business that have done far worse things who get hired against somewhere because that's the wrestling business. Usually, though, it's people who actually draw money. Like the promoter can excuse bad behavior because that person has a name and they can sell tickets. I don't know that AJ is a big draw. So it would be nice to see other promotions stand up and say, you're not welcome here. Then you got wrestlers like Rob Van Dam tweeting out, so far, I got Raja's back, as a tease for his video that went up
Really,
on
dude?
YouTube. He didn't have his back so much as in the video.
Rob Van Dam. I never thought I would say this about Rob Van Dam, but Rob, you can kiss my black motherfucking ass. For you to try and defend what Ross Jackson did, kiss my whole black ass.
He was explaining how he could understand the reasons why this guy would have reacted the way he did. But he knew what he was doing when he tweeted that out, and he rightfully got flamed for being an idiot. And I get it.
Hello, welcome. Like, share, subscribe, please.
Then you have Mark Henry speaking to TMZ saying,
Dumbass.
what I saw was what I saw, which is people before the show drinking and intoxicated or partially intoxicated. You bust a bottle over a guy's head and talk trash like that guy was not going to do anything. Yeah, you're at fault. Very nice. It was a can, not a bottle, but I assume Mark didn't see the multiple apologies and the handshake that followed. You know, he was just going off half-cocked. It's one of the reasons I like waiting a few days for things to settle in some of these situations, if I can, just to try to get a fuller picture of what actually happened. There's so much more video that I came across in the days after the incident that adds a lot of context. But you only need so much context in this case to know that the one at fault is the man who beat someone half to death. He also said about Psycho Stu, what kind of example are you as a veteran for inciting a riot? I've seen that word thrown around a lot this week also, kid.
He's not a kid, he's 25 years old.
He's 25 years old.
Thank you.
He talks about him like he's some rookie out of high school. Stop talking about him like he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. Like he's a child who should be given the benefit of the doubt. He's a grown-ass man behaving like a child. But that doesn't mean he should be treated like one. Chael Sonnen was the worst of them all. I'm not even going to dignify what he said with a response. But Chael is terrible anyway, so I'm surprised he would say a bunch of stupid shit. There is no justification for what Raja
Dude,
Jackson
what is
did.
he talking
You can try
about?
to make sense of it, and he would have ended up so blinded by anger that, you know, he would do what he did, but there's no justifying it or assigning anything even remotely close to equal blame to the victim here. It's like, imagine after Travis Scott tagged Cody Rhodes with that open hand slap at Elimination Chamber where he busted Cody's eardrum. If Cody came back at WrestleMania to get his receipt and he proceeded to pound Travis into unconsciousness, obviously that would never happen. But I don't doubt that you would have had people praising Cody for defending the business. Travis started it, you know, whatever. There would be no justification for something like that because that is not how a well-adjusted, stable human being acts.
Exactly.
This is a man that needs psychological help. And he
Yep.
can get that help while he serves out his sentence.
And here's Maven's take.
Still think eating healthy means losing flavor? With the new HelloFresh, you don't have to. I get over 100 meal options a week.
Hey guys, Nathan here. Now, the incident involving MMA fighter Roger Jackson
Going off script during a professional wrestling match, it's blowing the internet up. Now, as a former WWE wrestler, I thought I'd throw in my 2 cents. Let's get into it.
The Psycho Stu. Psycho Stu? What, you don't know me? Hell no. Yeah. Man, I think that's what...
He's not a fucking worker, bro. This is obviously taking place before the match, probably before people even file into the arena, before any part of the show takes place. The guys, the wrestlers, the workers, looks like outside, they're backstage, they're in ring here, so we're obviously close to showtime. My first issue with this is if you're doing a work, meaning everyone is on the same page, you want to make sure everyone involved has got the script, meaning everyone
Exactly.
is going to have it. So if you're trying to get some steam, get some heat backstage beforehand, and you're using someone who's not a worker, not a wrestler, not used to this type of storytelling, it's imperative they're not on the show, the work aspect of it. When he hits it with this beer or soda or whatever it is, I notice Raja does not budge. He doesn't sell it. He doesn't move. In fact, his first instinct is to take a step forward. And you heard someone off in the background saying, yo, watch out. He's not a worker. Raja had no clue what was about to happen.
He didn't.
You don't sell it? No, he's not a fucking worker, bro.
Never, and I repeat, ever.
Don't grab on person when they piss the hell off.
Especially if you don't know, never grab them up around the neck.
Facts.
That's the first way, the first sign to tell someone, I disrespect you, and I can handle you. That's how you grab a child. When I was a boy, and my dad wanted to get control of me, that's exactly where he would grab me, right on the neck, and then he would lead and guide me everywhere. And you can see the moment he did that, immediately other people, other wrestlers, other workers stepped in. Anything ever is going to happen backstage.
I gotta pause this for a second. The moment that Stu grabbed him on the shoulder, Raj was ready to fight then. If anybody has seen the clip, Raj wanted to fight then.
They're made aware of it. You want to know about it before you agree to the job. And I show up, and immediately upon getting there, another wrestler comes and hits me with a full can of soda in the head. We got problems. We have immediate problems. Look at me, damn. Show's over.
I was fucking with this. I know you will. We're good. I was fucking up, bro. I don't play that shit.
So, example number 2, right there, that he had no clue what was going on. He said, I don't play that shit.
Nah, I will fuck him up, bro. Got you. So I do not play that shit at all.
The guy with the beard, he's kind of got a little shitty grin off on his face, so it does kind of tell me that there's an angle that's going to happen later in the show. There's a story he's trying to tell.
You know, this thing that we're working on here, like, it's part of the fucking storyline.
The guy immediately to the left of Raja just said that this was part of the storyline. So, check marks for me. And I'm happy that both him and Tex-Mex were standing right in the middle, keeping it civil at the moment.
Yeah, rambling. That's how we No, bro. My man is we always think.
Now, Stu did try to apologize, but Raj was like, nah, man, you disrespected me, nah, man.
The moment a hand is extended and not accepted, that again, that tells me that what he did with the soda pop, he's not good. At this point, any promoter, anybody involved with the match should have pulled and canceled with
So I agree with Maven so far. Soon as he saw that he that he was hot, he just said, "Hey, bro, we're sorry about what went down. Just go ahead and leave. Go ahead and leave, and we'll try to make it up to you." It's what it should have did.
The storyline they had with Raja for the night. Raja no longer was there as either a fan or a later participant. We don't want no. No, I'm cool. I'm cool now, but you know what I'm saying?
No, he ain't. No, he was not. Raj sitting there trying to say he was cool. I do not believe that Raj was cool in any way, shape, form, and or fashion.
Anything is harder to look at. We just don't want no problem.
They're obviously trying to reconcile. They're trying to
Exactly. That's all they're trying to do. Diffuse the situation. Yeah.
that they accomplished. Someone, I'm assuming from the show, from the production aspect of the show, extends his hand and Raja accepts and shakes his hand. If I'm in Raja's position, if I'm in his shoes, I'm thinking, okay, problem squashed. I'm not going to have to worry about this anymore going further. And if I'm in the production's shoes, I'm thinking, okay, this started a little hairy, started a little fiery, but we've squelched it, we've squashed it, we've successfully diffused the situation.
You know what's the good thing about this? Not to make myself. Have you run into fuck that motherfucker up in the side? You don't ready for that? Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. To the president. Yeah. If you can do that for me, I'll be doing it.
So the guy who's playing Peacemaker just informed him that we're going to have you run in and F him up in the match. And
Y'all heard that right. He said, you know what? I won't let you get your lick back. But the thing is, though, they should have explained to him how far he could go. Unfortunately, from what I'm seeing, they didn't explain that to him.
Roger was all too eager to accept that. I have a big problem with wrestling companies utilizing outsiders in spots like this. I've been a part of before with different companies, and I'll explain why later. Right now, they're trying to get mileage out of this. They're thinking this is going to be what helps them during the show later.
Just take classes, take charge. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu.
With the incredible claiming combo, the more you wash and finish, the more you feel like a... Yeah, let's do that. Hell yeah. I haven't brought in on your shit. Your match.
Psycho Stu comes back in the frame, and he's being told right here that Raja is playing a part in your match later.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. Hey, it's gonna all work out. Yeah, as long as I work it out, yeah.
Right there, everyone involved with this, everyone thinks this momentary problem, but this is squashed. Everyone except one person. I love it.
I appreciate it.
He even says it right there. He addresses the camera. He saw the camera and he thought, it's go time. I'm on. It's time to be on.
What he thought was he was
I understand.
Yeah, another thing is, even when we are working like that, you know,
Following Roger's camera crew even deeper backstage, he was being led to believe that that's not how we do things. He shouldn't have hit you. If he was going to hit you, there's a working way, a fake way to hit someone with a can of soda pop. There's a fake way, a working way of getting that reaction without actually hitting him the way he did.
when you run out on his shit, you fucking give him his receipt. Remember what a receipt is? Give him that fucking receipt, bro. Tag this shit. If you got a fucking problem with it, I'll fucking run out there.
He just told him, when you do your spot in the match, give him a receipt. If someone pops you, you pop them back. If they hit you, you hit them back. You make sure that you're not someone's punching bag. By telling Raja
give him his receipt, that's opening up the floodgates. Again, Raja is not a wrestler. To him, a receipt is exactly what he gives him. In the wrestling world, it's totally different. I remember during a match, my very first match with Pat, I go to hit him, and I accidentally hit him too hard. And I go to apologize, and he taps me. That's telling me my receipt's coming. The receipt is a way for wrestlers to police their locker room and business that goes on in the ring without having it transferred backstage, without having feelings hurt, without having problems with
I'll be right back in a second, y'all.
you handle it with a receipt, case closed. Raja,
Yeah.
As long as I get my lick back
Cut
on,
it
I'm
down.
straight. I'm straight.
right there, man, they should have pulled it. They should have been like, yo, you see this thing going? All right, so we have Psycho Stu in the ring wrestling during a
Here we
match.
go.
Raja is front row, obviously, because he was going to be a part of the action. And
Fast. Yeah, he did. He did go too fat,
in the ring,
too damn far.
takes action. He starts with what everybody
You know what, Itchy
thought
Bunny,
was
you gonna
his
go.
spot in this match.
You are gonna go. Ooh.
So he double.
Not only Roger had no business being there with the head injury they just had like a week earlier. He had no business being there.
Legs him, kicks him up. When he does that, Psycho Stu does not fight back. Notice he goes with it. Raji even rears him back. Psycho Stu's not trying to get out of this, telling me this was supposed to be a part of the show. And once he delivers it, once he slams him back, you see his head hits the back of the canvas. I think
Yeah, he was out.
the moment he takes that
He was out soon as he was slaying.
he's about to take it. He's out for the count.
And this ref is useless. After the second swing, that ref should have pulled him off. Cause you could tell by the aggression with the way that Raj was swinging. Raj was not going to stop swinging in any way, shape, or form.
Now, what you're not seeing, because YouTube will not allow violence like this to be shown, are the haymakers that Raja is delivering. He's giving it rights and lefts. These are 100% shots delivered to an unconscious Psycho Stu. These punches are being delivered with intent, and that intent is to inflict as much pain and damage as he possibly can. When you straddle another man and you just rain down blow after blow,
Yeah, facts.
obviously see they're out cold. They have no way of defending, protecting themselves. You're borderline flirting with assault and quite possibly criminal charge.
This here wasn't just assault. This here was easily assault with intent to, KIL. Yeah. It was assault with intent to kill. I'm just gonna call it for what it is. Let me see what you said. Now, could this be attempted murder? Perhaps it could be, but it is at least assault with intent to kill easily. The fact that Raj could not be controlled was a problem. And and facts. That's another thing that's pissing me off too. Black Planet Oregon. That's another thing that was pissing me off too. Is people, calling him a child. He's 25 years old. He's a grown man. He ain't no damn child. Hell's we talking about?
I'm glad that these wrestlers are able to hold it back. But I'll be honest with you, the only thing holding it back at this point is sheer exhaustion from swinging and hitting Stu. When you bring someone in that does not know the wrestling business, they do not know the cadence with which things are done. They always throw punches that always a little bit off. They don't move the way you would expect a professional wrestler to do. And run the risk of a worst case scenario happening. An athlete blowing an ACL, getting hurt, or most of these guys' lives will never be the same. I don't know the state of wrestling.
Okay, that's pretty much it on that. I'm gonna go to what Stevie Richards has to say. Let's go.
Let's get into it. Before we say anything, Psycho Stu has a GoFundMe, and it turns out that it is legitimate, it is verified. I believe his brother had originally, it does GoFundMe, it's not ours. And then GoFundMe and Stu's brother both said, no, this is the real one. Well over $100,000 last I checked. A couple of the usual suspects, Miro, Rusev donates, Chris Jericho donated. That you can, whatever you can say about Chris Jericho, you can't say that he's one heck of a generous son of a gun. Mr. Beast donated $10,000 as well. So I mean, it's a great outpouring of support for somebody who's very, very clearly being wrong. There's one thing that we didn't really talk about. We talked about this on the pre-show, and I think it's important to mention this first before we get into all this extra news that's come since Monday. And I want to say that even we realised that Stu apologised, several times to Raja and stuff like that. And you said it was more kind of symptomatic of the culture of pro wrestling being its own bubble. But also, we have to assign a modicum of blame to Stu for knocking a stranger on the can of beer kind of thing. Now, once again, this doesn't warrant, this is not a capital offence. You know what I mean? And things would have weirdly gone a lot different if he'd done that. The can was empty. Afterwards, Raja said he wasn't hurt by it at all. He admitted that on the stream. So the only thing that was hurt was feelings. And Raja's precious little feelings were hurt about this. But as you say, you said it was more symptomatic of the pro wrestling bubble and the pro wrestling culture. That you sort of assume anybody in the backstage is a working habit, which actually they should be.
Yeah, what I said was that Stu and probably maybe even a lot of other people, because the guy AJ, I know we're going to bring his name up a bunch once again, he was the one that invited.
I got a feeling that justice is coming.
Before with myself, looking at AJ and Stu and wondering before we found the information out, like, is there something between these guys, or does AJ guy have something against the Stu guy? Apparently there is some bad blood there, but it's kind of like what I said, the wrestling business has kind of been spoiled by these celebrities and other people.
It has been.
Very well. I repeat that. That's definitely something to let the guard down.
And the only beef I have with WWE, you sitting there trying to have all these, celebrity people to do stuff with wrestling. Now, I know that, you want to go mainstream, this and that, but I feel that a celebrity thing should be a once in a blue moon type of deal. You shouldn't have to have a celebrity like every 3 weeks. It's getting to be too damn much.
Yeah, but also, it used to be, even with the checks and the balances and the extreme protection of the business, the entrance to the arena, the locker room, and especially the ring, when somebody has access to a locker room, in this case the outside, which is another point that I'm going to make should be avoided, you're out there, Raja's in the crowd, he's with another worker, So the incorrect assumption by Stu is that Raja is clued in. Is, as you said in your video on your channel, he's in on the joke. He's in on the work. These are all incorrect assumptions. I don't know about the face-off, and I don't know why Stu felt he needed to, even in a work sense, hit him on an empty beer can to the head. Now, this kid also suffered...
Again, this is Stevie Richards' take.
So, and he said he
So
wasn't
take
hurt.
it
My
with a
team
grain
was
of
like, oh my
salt.
God, I'm like, not loopy. I'm sure the Stu guy would have apologized as he did when he found out that Raj isn't clued in, isn't in on the joke, isn't in on the work. He apologized profusely to him. This is where it takes the left turn. If you had said to me, like you said, James, in your video, if he turned around, boom, and Raja turned around and popped him, or hit him, or grabbed him and said, don't you ever do that again, I'm sure that the Stu guy would be like, what's going on here? They would have broken up. He still would have apologized. And I don't even know if it would have been squashed, because once Raja seemed to have it in his head, I'm going to get this guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to F up a pro wrestler for real. The 2 hours leading up to it, even when the Black Pearl guy was standing there going, laughing out, we're always working, and the Stu guy sitting down.
See, Raj ain't gave a damn.
Stu and Black Pearl seemed like it's all been calmed down. Raj is standing there still rocking back and forth, and dude, the look on his face, if I was there, I'd be like, something's not right with this guy. Wheels are turning, he's thinking of something. This is not squashed. And as somebody who runs the school or the promotion, I'd be like, we can't let this dude anywhere near the ring. Instead, the opposite happened. So, like you said, in an alternative timeline, if Stu hit him, and Raja grabbed him or wrestled him or even popped him back, I think it should have been all squashed, but I think he was already, it felt like he already had an idea in his mind, or the AJ guy was already telling him, do this to the Stu guy. I don't know, but it just didn't seem right, no matter what would have occurred at that particular point. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, funnily enough, I listened to Bradshaw say he said the exact same thing as me. He said if he just punched him back right there and there, got into a scuffle, and that sort of,
got it out of their system.
Basically stood on the system. Yes, got it out of the system, stood on business, shook hands afterwards, laughed about, then moved on. It could have been a completely different thing.
Could have been.
But we don't do alternative timelines. This isn't multiverse.
Nope.
So that's not what happened. We're going to go straight to AJ Man. Actually, just before, I wanted to mention also on this live stream, Rampage. I think that he was getting beaten up by guys in tights. So just one thing after another, gaslighting someone who is emotionally stunted and basically a psychopath.
Fats Bush Boogie, I would say the same thing.
He was the cowboy-looking dude.
Not to be confused with Michael Mann.
No, for goodness sake, no relation. I mean, there's less ends in this one anyway. Anyway, AJ Manor posted, I think on Facebook, a post that he's since deleted because it is mind-meltingly a stupid position to take, especially when you're on stream saying what he was caught saying, basically tagging, beating him up, and I'll back you up if he tries anything. Stu tries anything. I want to take a moment to address the recent incidents at Knox Pro. First and foremost, my thoughts is the guy that you were going to... Anyway. No one ever wants to see a fellow performer get seriously hurt, and there's been a lot of speculation online about my role that night. The truth is, I was in character, and speaking in the language of wrestling. Everything I said was part of the show, and I never intended or encouraged real harm, Stevie.
Well, I'm going to stop it right there and say someone is instructing him to say this, or like Rampage Jackson with his statement, he went to ChatGPT because he did not. That is not Rampage Jackson.
He did not formulate these words.
Hell no, they ain't Rampage. I guarantee you, Rampage is loyal to write that shit.
And a bunch of preteens on kick. Anyway, wrestling is built on trust, respect, and protecting each other in the ring. That's why I stand for.
Bro, his lawyer. Bro, Rampage's lawyer wrote that shit. I'm sorry.
That's why I stand for comma. There's a word missing. I respect this business, I respect the fans, and I respect the performers who step between those ropes. I hope we can focus on Stu's recovery and making sure, yeah, focus on Stu's recovery and not your part you played in it, cheating up a nut job to, kill him. This is the most, apart from the fact that it's the most unbelievably self-serving post, it's a complete lie as well, because you on stream. What, I never intended or encouraged real harm. Yes, you did. The quote says, on that stream, you were caught encouraging real harm. And then if Stu fought back, you said you would back Raja up.
Yeah, that's about right. That is about right. What seems like here, and this is the one thing that people have been debating about the criminal part of this, or maybe even the civil part, that pro wrestling is supposed to be fake. It's supposed to be a work. It's supposed to be a show. This quote here, this statement that AJ's saying, is basically, we were just all kind of part of the work, and it just got out of hand. And it was just something unfortunate and miscommunicated. There's a lot of words
Where?
there that says there's no guilt involved or no intention, which the stream obviously shows multiple
Intent.
intention and it basically premeditated sense. But do you see what I'm saying with the wording and the way it's chose and that gray area of work or shoot? There's people still, I talked about it on Patreon. Somebody actually put a video up saying, well, obviously this is a work because look at the way the fist just brushes the beard and look at the way Stu's selling it. I was
Dude,
like,
really?
yeah, he's selling it because he's choking on his freaking teeth.
And blood.
He's knocked out and he's halfway to a coma and he's literally, the word of the guy talking to Raja on the phone afterwards, he's flatlined. So nobody knew if this dude was even alive or dead. But he might have been alive enough for people to pin him and then make a cover and a count. By the same referee, people are just...
Yeah, now that's another thing that pissed me off too. This guy is borderline comatose, choking on his blood and his teeth, and you MFers are gonna have somebody to cover him, and the ref gonna go 1, 2, 3. Here's my response to y'all. And that's my response to everybody who okayed the bullshit. Fuck you and the pussy you came out of. Let's get back into this.
and then make a cover and a count. By the same referee that people are giving grades to say, well, he's not an MMA.
Why you giving grace to this referee? The referee almost got the man killed. Fuck that referee. Fuck him.
Current Knox Pro Wrestlers on the Scaled Up podcast on YouTube, including Douglas Mallow, that name.
And I gotta pause this for a second. Rikishi. Why ain't you saying nothing now? Any other time you run that fat ass mouth, where you at now?
A couple of times. He was the guy who, along eventually with some others. Now, I did mention this. I mentioned that in a second. He gave an interview. He was the guy who Roger Johnson tried to double leg, and Douglas actually headbutted him, put him in the corner. He can't calm him down. Basically, with other wrestlers who followed him, he was the leader. There was another wrestler outside with some face paint who did come into the ring first. We were like, well, he's not doing the greatest job of stopping the fight, but he was trying. Turns out, I think I'm right saying he was 17 years old. It's like, he's a boy seeing something he's hopefully will never see again and probably never saw beforehand and doesn't know how to react, kind of thing. So, I mean,
He's basically being more of a man than any of the other guys outside of Doug Mallow, right?
yeah, basically, I mean, especially that referee. I don't think referees get criticised enough. We'll get to the referee.
Yeah, that referee can kiss my ass.
Douglas Mallow said this and sort of registering his disgust at the wrestling school for trying to cover up or encourage no cooperation with police. This is what he says. The most disgusting thing that people at this school are being encouraged to not cooperate with the police. From what I hear, the police were there investigating the scene shortly after she was removed, and the multiple requests that have gone downstream from upper management to not talk with the police directly if they are contacted, and to only let a certain group of individuals interact with the police. That is extremely dishonest. Is it not illegal? I don't know.
Yeah, that is illegal.
Yeah.
And that's illegal.
It might be obstruction of justice if you lie.
Yeah, it is
to the police.
obstruction. Yeah.
Or maybe that's how it works here. If you lie to the police and say you know nothing.
Not only is it obstruction of justice, it's also impeding investigation.
It's definitely morally or even legally, it's not right, or both. Definitely not morally right. And this is a guy that worked in this promotion for 11 years. And that's what Duncan said. You think these people are your friends, they're not your friends. And that's proven in the worst way possible.
To finish off the quote, you guys let your friend almost die, and now you're trying to have people lie for you. And this actually, allegedly, is the initial message that was sent out by Knox Pro's Kevin Thomas, Katie King, on the Psycho Stu Roger Jackson. This is as follows. Please refrain from engaging in comment sections on social media posts about this tragedy. It will be weaponized in potential criminal and civil cases. Fly low. Keep in mind civil cases. If law enforcement or an attorney for the suspect contact you in any capacity, let someone here know right away for guidance.
I gotta pause this real quick. There should be civil cases, and there should be criminal cases here.
On how to address them. Now, this tells me, at the sake of trying to squash a criminal investigation, they're actually more interested in the civil case that I suspect will be levelled against the school for their part in wedding.
There should be a civil case. What the fuck is we talking about?
Stage where the wrestlers were, even though he should have been there really, and to agreeing to let this maniac do a spot with Stu. And here's the other thing, is that as far as I know, and I said this on Monday as well, they never interacted between the initial can bonk thing and then when Raja got into the ring. Because I believe Raja was told by someone at ringside what he was going to be doing. Like there was no running through, as you said, there was no running through at the spot, there was no checks and balances. They just went, right, you're doing a slam. The assumption that a non-wrestler who's clearly not right in the head will do the right thing is such an impossible lapse of judgment.
And somebody should have seen that this dude was a powder keg from the word go.
Law enforcement or an attorney for the suspect contacts you. So, do you think it's just a...
I don't know what's taking them so long to arrest him. I don't know, man.
Legal representation, if he gets any, because wouldn't they be on the side to try to quell the defense? You know what I mean? They're part of the defense, if you think about it at this point, in some regard. Or are they going to basically cooperate? It looks like they don't want to cooperate. Here's my question too. I don't remember if Doug or anybody or this KT King said who sent the text. That's pretty important. Who's the person in upper management that's trained to tamper with witnesses or maybe obstruct justice?
Okay, well, this doesn't necessarily answer your question, but there are two owners of this school, Rikishi, WWE Hall of Fame, we'll get to that in a minute.
And why hasn't Rikishi said a damn thing?
So they are the two owners. I suspect that this comes from the top line, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I can't say one way or the other. Do you think they will take away his Hall of Fame induction? No.
Take.
I thought you said they are. I don't know.
No, that was ID.
Yeah, they took away the ID, and we're going to talk about ID as well. The checks and balances thing, before we move on, this is the whole thing. And like you said, there is a little bit of guilt with the system, with the culture of the locker room and wrestling. They're just out there like it's a cookout, like it's a barbecue, hanging out, very accessible. I do understand in some ways with independent wrestling, making yourself available to the fans, interacting, having meet and greet. This is a completely different thing. This is something that where you need a barrier, physical or metaphorically, where nobody can get the access. In other words, like I said, if somebody makes it into the building, it's like, okay, Is it a fan? Is it a worker? If somebody makes it back into the locker room and sitting there and has bags or has someone and is talking, and then there's a wrestler on the roster that's vouching for them, your incorrect assumption sometimes at this point is going to be clued in, knows it's a work, oh, they're involved tonight, so okay, they're somewhat trained. You see what I mean? When you break through all those checks and balances and barriers and get to the locker room and people are communicating and welcoming you to some degree, you're thinking, oh, okay, they're part of the deal. That's not the case. Outside eliminates some of those barriers and checks and balances and allows for the order to be muddy. And now you don't know. Now you have to err on the side of caution from this point on and just say, if I don't know these people, everybody's a mark, everybody's not clued in, and we need to protect ourselves. We need to bring back kayfabe and go somewhere else and get away from them.
Let's go to the ID thing straight away. Right, this is a WWE ID was affiliated school. I imagine, now this is just pure speculation on my part, I don't know how many checks were done on this school, but you know, it's run by a former WWE star and WWE Hall of Fame, you know, basically figured in, especially with all the sons in the company at the moment as well. So, anyone, I think like the initial 5 or 6 schools, nearly all of them have, you know, Seth Rollins has one that's affiliated, Cody Rhodes has one. I think, is it Reality Wrestling Divas?
No, Reality Wrestling's Booker T.
I'm sorry, I completely messed up on the other videos. Booker T is my apologies. You know, they've all got, you know, links to WWE, apart from like one that I don't think does, but all the rest do. Anyway, I'm wondering if someone from WWE would have gone down there and then like seen this scene of basically having a NASCAR cookout in the afternoon and looked around and think, maybe you should all be a bit more professional because you've got the WWE logo on your website, you're affiliated with this kind of thing, you brought something to appreciate.
Well, I did bring it up because you even look at most of the roster, like Doug Mallow and the other guy that wrote the podcast, they look like wrestlers. But there's a whole lot of people that I'm looking at saying, this is a WWE ID thing, and obviously it's politically aligned with Rikishi being favored politically by the office. But I would look at these people, and outside of the Doug Mallow guy and the KT King, I believe is the other guy next to him in the podcast. If I'm wrong, I apologize. They look like they have the potential to maybe go to NXT or somewhere else. But the others, it's like, where is the feeder system to put people in NXT, WWE, or bring them along? I don't see it. So yeah, obviously everybody's sitting out there having a cookout. Maybe there was a beer can involved that was empty. Were they drinking during the afternoon? What was it? That's not reflected. I have a feeling WWE was not putting out a standard operating procedure, a standard template on now you need to run. You're essentially developmental territory. So you need to now look like a WWE territory, like FCW used to look like OVW. Like South to some extent. But it seems like the brands are all kind of doing their own thing independently and just have that badge or sticker of WWE ID. Here's my question back to you and everybody in the comments. Do you think WWE is going to do away with the ID program? Do you think they're just going to be very, very limited? Because Booker runs a great school and a great promotion.
He does.
Devon's not ID, but I'm impressed with what Devon's doing down there with his school. He doesn't have a TV deal or anything. Cody's Nightmare Factory, right up there, like AEW never took advantage of that the way they should have. That's run really well in his sport.
I'll talk about the Nightmare Factory at another time.
Performance facility. So in the other ones I don't know about, but Knox Pro just reminded me of an independent that I came up with, you know, in the 90s. Just very gritty and not very professional looking.
I've got breaking news, as it were, but nothing too interesting. Right, so the Knox Pro website, I said on Monday, I think on our show, that they'd taken off the WWE ID logo. Someone, I think, commented and said, no,
you said in your video, but on Monday they were still officially WWE ID, but on your channel, Tuesday, you said that it was taken down.
Thank you. It wasn't taken down. I checked this morning, it was still there. But I can actually change. Here we go. They've just whited out the WWE ID logo from there. website, and also, wherever this means WWE, have followed Rikishi on Twitter. So there you go, they're really distant, you know. I know they seem like small things, but they are distancing Rikishi.
They better
And
distance
this is something
themselves.
that it's really unfortunate too, because I don't know how involved Rikishi is. He does a lot of shows. I think he was even going to do Memphis Pro Wrestling coming up. I saw an ad for that on YouTube. So he's still working indies and making appearances, as far as I can guess or speculate. So it seems like Rikishi attached his name to it, and obviously a family member is there to run it in person. But who's going to suffer the major losses, the major, like, loss of any kind of affiliation is going to be Rikishi personally. They aren't following social media. I don't know about getting booked on any legend shows for WWE or anything like that.
No, and that's gone. All that is gone.
Okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Don't cry. The Sneaky Face podcast is not going anywhere.
Don't scare like Tuesday. Right, right. Let's get to. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's almost funny. It'd be funny if it wasn't so. Just.
Is that why you were rubbing your eyes? You're ready to close
Just
your
got
eyes?
itchy eye. Leave me eyeball alone. Goodness me. That's always scrutiny on how I scratch my eyelid. Right. Here's the thing that I think Tom Lawler, filthy Tom Lawler, former MMA star in UFC, and you know, does pro wrestling now, or did anyway. I think he's had hip surgery. Now he posted somebody uploaded an alternate angle of this, right? After Raj Jackson's pinned into the corner, and as they are basically scuttling him out of there, as he's still trying to fight all these guys, Stu Smith, Psycho Stu, is still unconscious. At one point, someone described him as flatlined. I mean, he wasn't medically flatlined, but you know, I think he was put into an induced coma. That was one of the rumours out there. Can't say for sure. Anyway, he's choking on his teeth, his blood.
Yep. Yes, that's what they were saying. He was choking on his teeth and blood.
Another of the wrestlers, who obviously wasn't getting involved in the fight, slid into the ring and pinned Psycho Stu. And the cowardly referee, who was stood there watching nearly 24 unprotected headshots and did nothing about it, counts the pinfall.
Dickhead.
Is this symptomatic of pro wrestling, or are these just two of the stupidest people to walk the planet?
They're idiots.
It's both. It's symptomatic. I was going to make a point about the Doug Mallow guy and then the other guy, if his name's KT King, then I got it right. If not, I apologize once again. The two guys from the podcast that literally were speaking truth from witnessing it, being a part of it, and all that stuff. And also, the weird part about that, and I'm going to talk about it right here, nobody's getting on the referee. In fact, people are defending the referee in the wrestling.
How can you defend the referee? The referee should have stopped it. Me personally, I'm not going to defend that referee, because the referee should have been the first line of fucking defense.
Put the blame on him. We've already talked about how the situation went differently. Yes, we understand that, but that's not what happened.
Can I just say this as well? I'm very sorry to interrupt. Just to clarify that Stu statement. Okay, if he'd open hand slapped him as hard as he could, he would have deserved a couple of punches and maybe a knockout for that. That is still not a capital offence. You still, you know, when someone's knocked out, the fight's over. Can we just agree?
Exactly.
Like, nothing that Stu really
agree. The heat of the moment thing of bip, back and forth, right?
Yeah.
This is bip, apologize, cool him in, smarten him up, apologize to
the apology. Yeah,
accepted the apology, shook his hand, but his face said a different story. Even when he shook his hand, he was looking away like, I got something on my mind. It's all premeditated.
Yeah, it is.
So whatever live stream kicks or whatever, you can delete it all you want. It's somewhere out there, someone down.
Exactly.
People have it, so you're not getting out of it by deleting the stream. Here's the crazy part about the wrestling business, the negatively crazy, hilarious part about this business. Do you know who has the most amount of heat in some people's eyes? Doug Mallow, for opening his mouth and stooging it off and telling the truth about it. There's some circles of wrestling people that are saying, that dude's never getting booked again. Am I wrong?
You know what? He should be booked in NXT. WWE should sign him up.
Yeah,
Because I
WWE
guess
should
there are
sign
few
him.
people in life with enough moral fortitude and character to do what's right, and he did. So he should be rewarded.
Struggling to find hot-selling products for your business? Meet Axio, Alibaba.com's AI-powered
Character to do what's right, and he did. So he should be rewarded.
Yeah, but in pro wrestling, if you think for yourself, if you haven't thought or have any kind of moral compass to speak up, you're the one. We live in a day and age where you actually shoot the messenger. The person who reports the crime is going to be scrutinized more than the person actually committed. I'm just speaking from what I know, and I said on Patreon, and I'll echo it again in a bit after we go through all these tapes, because this is not the wrestling business I know. This is not it. But the parts that I do know that are negative are starting to creep up a little bit. The confirmation bias, the gaslighting, and looking at the guy, Doug Bell, and the other guy going, you'll never work again.
That's right. Let's talk about this clown who picked Stu. Didn't put him in the recovery.
Yeah, who is this
You know,
clown?
he's obviously choking, dying basically. But then, someone's got to get their shit in. That's wrestling. That's wrestling at its most base level, I guess, like the worst aspects of it. Anything else to add about the ref and the guy who picked him?
Yeah, this whole show must go on BS that we're hearing in some people's take on this. Like, he only pinned him because it would calm the fans down. No, the guy laying there choking on his teeth in almost like a medically induced coma, or you don't even know the guy's alive. They don't even know if this dude was breathing. And he got covered, and the referee, who completely showed inaction up to this point, finally
Cowardness.
gets to action and counts a 3 count. What are we doing here?
Right, I think I've seen this being compared to the mass transit incident. I've seen New Jack stabbing that dude multiple times when he punched him hard twice in that match, and New Jack admitted that he was trying to kill him. I mean, I've heard it compared to those things. I want to compare it to a story that not that many people have wrestling know, and it is Mighty Zulu Ron Pope. Now, that name is on the tip of your tongue, or during the line, man. That name's on the tip of nobody's tongue. Versus Frankie Lane, Cowboy Frankie Lane. Now, people might, on the Storytime and Dutch Mantel podcast, might have heard that name because Dutch used to tag with him in Puerto Rico in '79, had the Puerto Rico's greatest ever run of main event sellouts in '79. Anyway, a disagreement between the two. I don't know what it was about. Anyway, later that day, this is all premeditated. Frankie Lane had his head looking out through the curtain, watching the matches, and Mighty Zulu Ron Pope smashed his head in with a steel pipe from behind. And that strikes me as like the closest correlation that's happened in wrestling to this. It's like, okay, you just tried to kill the guy. You didn't even do it face to face. And you let it fester. And this was in, I don't know, the late 70s, mid-70s.
Well, in some ways, this is worse because that guy's in a sacred part of the arena. He's backstage. He's watching matches through the curtain. And somebody he's supposed to trust with his body, not only in the ring, but around that environment, literally hits him in the back of the head with a pipe. And you said right here, Lane suffered lifelong brain damage, changed his personality, obviously concussions and CT, we didn't know anything about that in '79. Continued to wrestle, as you said, he had a great run with Dutch in Puerto Rico. That is insane. Now, what happened to what the Rob Pope guys doing that did it, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, he continued wrestling, but he saw it.
So what, was he blacklisted after that?
No. He wrestled up to, I checked his matches, he wrestled up to 86, never did anything in the business. He was a horrible wrestler. He was shaped very weirdly, had a great body, but he was like all limbs. He was almost like a daddy long legs of a wrestler. It was weird. Anyway, he was no good and he never made it anywhere in the business. And I don't know I don't care what the argument is about. You don't try and kill someone with a steel pipe, for goodness sake. One more thing to mention, there's still been no arrest. What do the police need?
I don't know. I think if he hasn't gotten arrested yet, you said you guess he might be hiding, but at the same time,
They're gonna find him.
Jackson's not hard to find. If you find him, you're going to try to find the kid. I think there's more.
Again, he is not a kid. He's 25 years old.
Could be more because his dad's famous. I don't know what it is because I would have assumed if they showed up to investigate that night, the kid's walking around outside still live streaming. Don't you think that they would just go to him? I watched a million of these body cam videos where once something happens, you're going to the victim, then you're going to the suspect, right? Wherever they are, you're trying to find them. So if the arrest doesn't happen by now, at the time of this recording, when the episode's out, I don't think they're going to arrest them. The civil case is all, it's so weird, isn't it?
Okay, and that's it for that. Here's JD from NY.
You know, I wasn't really sure
This is JD from New
if
York.
I was going to cover this story or not. I got a lot of requests to cover this particular story, and it's not really my forte. It's not really my type of content. I don't really cover independent professional wrestling, but this news story is making the rounds on a national level, and it was one of the most disturbing things that I think I've ever seen. Seeing anything on social media. It was terrible. Downright terrible. I woke up to the news this morning, I woke up to clips all over my timeline on social media about this incident that happened at Knox Pro Wrestling Academy in Los Angeles. And the son of Rampage Jackson, son of ex-UFC champion Quinton Jackson, appears to assault a pro wrestler at a Los Angeles independent professional wrestling show. I've seen this clip. I am not going to show the clip. I am not going to show anything from his live stream. Everything is just so disturbing, that I honestly feel like it was premeditated and he sought to legitimately murder this individual in the ring. Rajah Jackson, the son of Rampage Jackson, seeked out a pro wrestler that he was supposed to work an angle with, and I legitimately think he went in there to kill him for whatever reason. I don't know. I watched several clips leading up to exactly what happened, and I just still don't know why it all resulted in what we got. The son of former UFC champion Quinton Rampage Jackson appeared to brutally attack a pro wrestler during an independent pro wrestling show in Los Angeles on Saturday night. And the video of the altercation can be seen on social media. I will not be linking you here. I will not be linking you down in the description or the comment section, nor will I be playing the video on this particular upload today. You guys can go find it yourself. It's easy to find. There was the video of this altercation in what Rajah's father, Rampage Jackson, called a case of bad judgment and a work that went wrong. A work that went wrong? After all the clips that I saw today, I
saw was attempted murder.
That went wrong. I think that his son is mentally deranged, and I think his son went to go do something in this particular instance that he wanted to do, which was murder. Video of the incident shows Rajah Jackson entering the ring at Knox Pro Wrestling Academy. This happened on Saturday night, and he slammed wrestler Stuart Smith, whose in-ring name is Psycho Storm, to the mat. Takedown, MMA takedown, a spine buster like slam. Jackson then mounts Smith in the video and punches him almost 24 times in the face, while everybody else in the ring watches on as this man is laying lifeless in the ring before anything is being done about it. After 24 or so punches, then everybody gets involved. And everybody starts pulling Jackson off of Stuart Smith. Smith, who seemed to lose consciousness and was not able to try to protect himself from these punches, laid motionless in the ring, with blood streaming down his face. his condition was not immediately clear on Sunday. Now, there are reports that he is awake, but the damage has been done, and apparently it's going to be a long road to recovery. Rampage Jackson put out a tweet, which we'll get to in a little bit, saying that he is awake and he hopefully gets better. Rampage Jackson said on X, after that he had been informed with what his son did, that Smith was awake and stable, he said. That was the night of. Los Angeles police spokesman Norma Eisenman confirmed that officers responded to the 8500 block of Lancashire Boulevard and took a report. Its address as 8548 Lancashire Boulevard. Eisenman said that there's no arrests were made, and that detectives would look at the report Monday and decide how to move forward with the investigation. Raja Jackson did not immediately respond to a request for comment, and more details sent through social media Sunday night. Smith also did not respond to a similar request. Rampage Jackson said in a post on X that the incident was bad judgment and a work that went wrong, using the wrestler term work, which refers to something that is scripted. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business being involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. In a statement, in full, I want to read you guys what he said on X. I want to clear up the misinformation about my son Raja. I've been confirmed that the wrestler Stuart Smith, aka Psycho Stu, is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. No, it wasn't moments before Smith's match. It was all shown on stream. It didn't happen moments before Smith's match. And Psycho Stu apologized to Raja Jackson for what had happened outside the arena before the match actually took place and the work was supposed to go on as planned. Raja was told that he could get his quote-unquote payback in the ring. I thought it was part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. No, your son is just a fucking retard. It wasn't a work that gone wrong. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler. Yes, let's start making excuses that he's not a pro wrestler. And had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to Kick, the streaming service, for this situation.
Granger knows that if you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, you go to great...
For this situation. Knox X Wrestling Academy did not answer calls seeking comments Sunday night. The attack was streamed on Kick. In a statement, a spokesperson for the live streaming platform said Raja's account on Kick was suspended. Good. Kick's community guidelines make it clear that excessive violence is not permitted, the statement said. Content in breach of our guidelines removed and users will be suspended or banned. Video preceding the attack showed Smith crushing a can on Raja Jackson's head, seemingly not knowing Jackson was not a wrestler. Jackson got angry, but another video showed the pair apparently making up. I'll get to this in a second. A third video after that showed another wrestler telling Jackson to give someone a receipt. It was not clear in the video whether the wrestler was referring to specifically Smith. A receipt in pro wrestling means a legitimate strike or attack, usually as a form of retribution for a spot during a match. Quinton Jackson referred to that altercation in his post on X, saying his son, who he said had sustained a concussion during sparring just days earlier, was told he could get his payback in the ring. No. He was not told he could get his payback in the ring. He was told forcefully, you should give him a receipt. Ridiculous. It was not told to him that he could get his payback in the ring. He was told, you should go out there and give him a receipt. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and well-being of Psycho Stu. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern is that now he makes a speedy recovery. Rampage Jackson is a decorated mixed martial artist who's held championship gold in UFC and has dabbled in pro wrestling in the past. His son is 25 years old and has a professional MMA record of 1 win and 1 loss. There's a report going around now that the LAPD is now investigating this. That's the last we heard of this situation. I bookmarked tweets on social media in detail, in chronological order of what had happened here. The first clip that I saw was Raja. He was outside with Psycho Stu, and there was a camera crew there. I'm assuming he was being
I'll
filmed
be right
for
back,
his
y'all.
stream.
Back in a minute.
This was all being live streamed.
Oh,
I
Lord.
don't know what was going on. We don't really know what happened before this particular clip. Did Psycho Stu know who Raja Jackson was? Now, the report here that I read from NBC News indicates that he might not have known who he was, if he was a wrestler or not. But if he was going to be in a spot in his match, I'm assuming he knew who he was and his background before this incident occurred. So in the first clip that I saw, Psycho Stu was going back and forth, and they were building something up, they were working, and then Psycho Stu takes a beer can, an empty beer can, or whatever it was, beer can, and smashes it over Raja Jackson's head. In the following clip that I see, which again was all streamed on his Kick channel, I saw them talking. Psycho Stu apologized. What he apologized for, I don't know. Apologized for the way that he hit him with the beer can. Apologized for hitting him with the beer can because Raja didn't know that specific spot where the beer can was coming. They might have clued him in after the fact that they were working and shooting an angle for the show. Maybe Raja Smith didn't know what was going on. Or Raja Jackson didn't know what was going on. Maybe he wasn't clued in on the fact that particular to how they were going to build his matchup. We don't know any of this information. But all I know in this certain clip that we saw with Raja Jackson and Psycho Stu Smith, Psycho Stu, he apologized. He apologized. They shook hands, and both Raja Jackson and Psycho Stu, they shook hands. They were on common ground. Common ground. The next clip that I saw was from a...
Here's the thing. Psycho Stu thought it was done. But you can tell by Raj's body language, Raj was not going to let that go. Let's get back into this.
A wrestler, this cowboy dude, cowboy gimmick, I believe his name was AJ Mana. He tells Raja Jackson, you gotta go out there and give him a receipt. Now, I don't know if
and that's where he fucked up.
Or not.
And that's where things got fucked up, was because of the AJ dude.
I don't. But why would you actively tell him to go out there and give him a receipt? Why would you actively tell him to go out there and punch him for real when that was not a part of the script? That was not a part of the work. So, Psycho Stu was on his stream, filmed, telling him he apologized for the way he potentially hit him, for the way that he might not have been filled in on the work. They apologized, everything was cordial, they were talking to each other, they shook hands. Then you got AJ Mana, who tells him to go out there and give him a receipt. A receipt is a payback for something that you didn't like someone else doing to you in the ring.
Exactly.
She's made up her mind to live pretty smart, not your budget response.
Someone else doing to you in the ring. So you gave him the okay when you are not allowed to make decisions like that. Who the fuck are you to give him decision or give him something like that to go out there and do? You're not the rule maker. You're not the decision maker. You You don't have any power to tell him to go out there and do that to someone else. Who the fuck are you? So what do you think he's going to do as a 25, 26-year-old dude? He's going to go out there and take this trust from someone he doesn't know and go out there and do what he's told. From someone who has no fucking business going out there and telling anybody what to do. Then we see him sit in front row. He gets into the ring. The takedown happens. He mounts him. One punch. I don't know if he was out on the takedown. And
Yeah, he was.
On the mat.
And JD said he don't know if he was out on takedown. When he got slammed to the mat, he was already out. And Raj, if he was a half decent person, would have been like, I got him. But Raj, unfortunately, being the powder keg that he was, just didn't give a damn.
To the takedown because Raja Jackson's not a pro wrestler, so he doesn't know how hard to slam him, how to slam him. His head might have hit the back of the mat. I don't know if he was knocked out on the slam.
Yeah, he was knocked out on the slam.
After the first punch was thrown, finished. It's over. He ended up landing over 24 more punches. And everybody else that was a part of this match, one in one corner, one in the other corner, people on the outside, the camera crew, whoever else was out there, the owners, the referee, they all watched this happen in real time. The referee was frozen in he was frozen in time watching 24 MMA shoot punches rain down on this fucking guy's face, potentially killing him. And then and only then, after the fucking 24 punches were thrown, this guy finally had everybody else that was there pull him off of Psycho Stu. And the job was already done. The incident had already been done. He was filmed on Kick. He was still streaming on Kick. He was out there on the phone, in his car. He was yelling about the incident. You don't fuck with me. No one's gonna fuck with me. He's going on and on and on. Raja Jackson still being streamed. Rampage gave his fucking quote, and he gave another quote that I don't have here while live streaming on his own Kick channel. They kept streaming for attention, for engagement, for viewership, knowing that his son, he streamed after the incident, knowing his son potentially murdered someone in the ring, and Raja Jackson continued to stream after the incident, and everything blew up on social media. They used this poor fucking dude, potentially committing murder in the middle of the ring, took the incident and then ran directly to Kick to continue streaming, to farm engagement off of potentially murdering an independent professional wrestler. Do you know how fucking deranged and how mentally unstable and how fucking subhuman you have to be? The first thing that should have been done was end the fucking stream and make sure that this dude was alright. No, the first thing you did was call your representatives and call your fucking people and still stream on Kick, farming engagement for it. And he got his channel taken down anyway. Fuck him. Fuck him and his father. Number one. Terrible. Absolutely subhuman fucking behavior. Farming this fucking incident. Potential murder for engagement. This was premeditated. From my vantage point, this was all premeditated. They did the angle, they did the beer can spot, they apologized to each other, or Stu apologized to Raja, they shook hands. Then he goes into the fucking locker room, he sees this other dude, this cowboy guy, this gimmick, AJ Mana is his name, goes out there and tells him, yeah, you gotta go give him the receipt. Who the fuck are you, bro? And then this guy goes out there and fucking lays 24 MMA punches on top of this poor fucking guy, potentially killing him. Bro, you went out there with the intent to murder. You went out there with the intent to kill another human being because you were told by somebody else in the back, you gotta go give him a receipt. Motherfucker, a receipt is one punch, not fucking 24. A receipt is a fucking a wake-up call, a hard slap to the face, kicks or fucking hard slam. Bro, this was all premeditated, man.
Show
He
hell
sat in the front row with the intent to go out there and do what he did. There's no fucking way you're gonna tell me he didn't know that this was all a work, that this is all staged, that this was all planned, premeditated beforehand. The work, the angle was all premeditated beforehand, worked out, planned out beforehand. He went in there and did his own fucking thing. He did his own thing and he sought to kill Psycho Stu.
Unfortunately, yes.
Rikishi. The
Where
son
you
of the
at?
Usos.
Where you at,
Son
Rikishi?
of Solo Sikoa, the current United States champion on Friday Night SmackDown. He is affiliated with this company. I don't know if he runs the company. I don't know if he runs it and trains. I don't know if he's just there training. He's affiliated with this company. This company
Where
is
you
part
at,
of the
Rikishi?
WWE ID program, where they partner up with independent pro wrestling promotions. And they put a WWE label on that promotion, and they look to seek out talent via these promotions. They get first dibs on talent that comes from these promotions. They could work anywhere they want, but WWE brands them like fucking cattle so that they got first dibs when they're ready to take them to the next level. The WWE ID program is just another way for WWE to colonize the independent scene, to close off the talent pool from AEW. That's all that is. You think WWE is going to be part of this? Do you think WWE is going to want to be affiliated with Rikishi and Knox Pro Wrestling Academy? Mike Johnson, PW Insider, put out a statement tonight via PW Insider Elite saying that WWE hasn't made a decision on it yet, but it's being closely monitored by the higher-ups in WWE. And if I'm WWE, I'm not working with that company. WWE may look to sever ties with that company with all the press that this is fucking getting. Negative press that it's getting. Raja Jackson went out to murder Psycho Stu. And he should be in fucking prison for what he did. Absolutely in fucking prison. The fucking scumbag went out there after the incident was over and continued to farm engagement and continued to live stream his reactions in front of how many fucking people? I don't know. His father went on Kick to stream his reactions in front of how many fucking people? I don't know. Bro, these are subhumans that don't belong to walk amongst us normal people in everyday life. He belongs in the fucking prison system. He belongs locked up behind bars with the rest of the fucking people that don't deserve to breathe the air of this lifetime. That clip that I saw, man, absolutely fucking pathetic. And it's fucking sad that it resorted to him getting in there and throwing shoe punches on somebody that did not expect it coming at all. And now he's laid up in a fucking hospital with what type of damage done, we don't know. The dude's life is never going to be the fucking same. There may be concussions, there may be fucking serious repercussions from what happened. You don't fuck around with head injuries, man. You don't. His career may be over. There was another guy that I saw. Some fan was filming outside the venue after the show was over. I don't know his name. I don't know any of these characters in this promotion. He had face paint on. He says he's been there quite a while. He says he bleeds Knox Pro Wrestling Academy. He said that Raja Jackson came in and completely disrespected not only his company, but came in and disrespected the art of pro wrestling for what he did. Bro, nobody knew this was coming. This was not part of the script. This was not talked about beforehand. This was not planned ahead of time. This was Raja Jackson going in there and taking things upon himself, and he went out there to fucking murder. There's something not right up here. There's something not right up here. He went out there and sought to murder this fucking guy, and I don't want to hear it from anybody. A normal human being's not going to do that. Your father knows a thing or two about pro wrestling, bro. They acted as if it's Rikishi's fault. He claimed that this happened moments before the BK incident happened. Motherfucker, about beforehand. Your son talked to 2 or 3 other fucking people before he sat ringside to go do the spot. He knew exactly what he was doing. Don't fool anybody. Don't try to fool anybody. Don't try to fucking spin the narrative in your way. Your son's got fucking mental issues.
Fact.
It's not Rikishi's fault. It's not the fucking Academy's fault. It's your fucking son's fault. Take responsibility for your son being mentally unwell.
And here's why I got pushed back on JD a little bit. He trying to say that it's not Rikishi's fault. Yes, it is, because Rikishi is supposed to be a part owner of this academy. Therefore, him being a part of management, Rikishi has no choice but to take some ownership in what happened. But this here is also on Rampage for the way that he raised Raj, and it's also on Raj as well.
Hell, he needs to go get help elsewhere if he's not already in fucking jail after this incident. Disgusting. And I mean absolutely disgusting behavior. He does not belong on the streets. He belongs behind bars. He committed or tried to commit murder. Never mind ruining pro wrestling or disrespecting the art of pro wrestling. I don't know how you're looking at it in any other way today. I don't know how you're looking at it in any other way, but this guy went in there and tried to commit murder on this poor fucking dude. I will follow you guys up on the situation. Absolutely deplorable behavior.
I got one more thing for y'all, and after that I'm done.
And his son, who clearly is not of right mind, and he belongs behind bars.
Exactly.
I will keep you guys updated on what's going on. Disgusting behavior. I don't think the WWE is going to be affiliated with this company anymore.
Hell no.
I don't know what's going to happen with Rikishi, man.
Rikishi's done.
Fire, big time.
Rikishi is done.
Big time. And the WWE is not going to be affiliated with this with all the negative press this get, man. They don't need this shit. On top of everything else that they're dealing with right now, they don't need this shit. Vince is still not fucking up with his fucking shit. They're bringing Lesnar back to Wrestle Cena. That's going to get negative press everywhere. This is just bad news, bro.
Straight up.
Bad news. I will keep you guys updated on all this with more information that becomes available. Those are just my immediate thoughts. Those are the situations that I saw with my own two eyes today. Kind of just in chronological order, detailed what had happened. Let me know what you guys think of the situation, and I will keep you guys posted on what happens next in regards to Rampage Jackson and his son Raja Jackson. LAPD is going to be investigating this. We don't know what's going to happen or what's coming out of that. Like I said, find out more right here.
JB, I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody do this before.
And this is the last one.
I will literally get myself a receipt right now. You ready? That's a receipt. That's all I told Raja to do. The only thing I told Raja to do was give him a fucking receipt. Because that's what the promoter wanted to do, to fucking be done. The promoter sent me away with Raja to work out the details. Watch the video. I didn't tell him to go beat that man. One punch. Somebody pulled him aside after it and then says to him, and you can get this validated as well. Pulled him aside, some fucking jabroni from the fucking goddamn bullshit production team comes up to him and says, no, don't just throw one punch. Slam him and keep hitting him until we come in there and pull you off. Now, who the set that up?
So, well,
this Raja Jackson almost killing situation has immense.
I ain't heard about this part.
Raja Jackson, not only for Psycho Stu, who's going to take the brunt of the fallout, but to everybody involved in that organization, especially everybody that was on camera. All right. Seen previous internet videos with specific to the gentleman by the name of Douglas, who was the one that pulled Raja off of Psycho Stu. But then another person who's been implicated in this entire drama is this brother right here in the cowboy hat. And he goes by
as he should be.
His real name is Andre. Now, if you remember Andre, he was not only the person to invite Raja as a friend into the background of the school, but then also he was the one that kind of sort of broke up the initial fight when Psycho Stu hit him with the can, and he also followed up and said, make sure that you give him that receipt. If you don't like it, I'm gonna hop in the ring with you. And then also he was the person to first call Raja after Raja fled the scene of the crime and said he's flatlined. Well, this brother has been receiving a ton of backlash from not only his involvement, but the perception of he enabling an unstable person to get into the ring. Well, now, AJ Mana has had the opportunity to tell his side of the story, and I will say, it's got to be top 3 crash out in 2025. And that crash out is due to not only him losing his main job, him losing his pro wrestling career, but then
And
also
AJ should be
him
canceled.
as a scapegoat, or him thinking that he is a scapegoat for the entirety of this ridiculous ass situation. Also, somehow AJ Mana is connected to the YouTube fitness legend that is CT Fletcher, who's over here co-signing a lot of his arguments. Let's dive deep on this one. It's a long conversation, so we're going to go through some of the highlights. So without further ado,
The quickest up is to actually speak to somebody who was the dead. You wasn't. We have to talk to somebody who was actually there, who actually knows the behind the scenes shit, the real story.
Okay.
So, AJ Mana is here. I've been knowing him for quite a few years now. And I have known nothing but good from this young man. He's here. He was in the air. Raja was his guest. And he's going to explain to you in his own words what really happened.
All right. Before AJ, before I let you go, put that on the people that's in the live stream know. If you got any comments, any questions,
Be back in a second.
We'll get to those, leave those in the comment section. Also, super chats are open. If you want to donate to the show, hit the super chat button. You donate to the show. We appreciate all the support you guys show to FDR Podcast. Let's get all that out the way. But right now, AJ, before we do anything, like Pop said, at the end of the day, all me and CT got is opinions. All everybody else has is opinions.
Yeah.
You were actually there. Raja was a guest of yours, so I want you to talk about that. Honestly, talk about whatever you're comfortable with talking about, but this is your story, and I want you to tell it.
Well, I'll start off with an old saying we all are very familiar with. Opinions are a lot like actions. Everybody's got one and they all stink. Let's just clean them up and deal with the facts.
Okay.
So my standpoint is I'm not dealing with anything with regard to speculation, rumor, hearsay, anything of that nature. I will deal only with my personal experience. I will deal only with the facts as I witnessed them and as I acted, as whatever came out of my mouth, wherever these 2 feet went, and whatever I was involved in, guess what? In a video that was over an hour long, hour and 30 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, whatever it was, in that entire video, you will only see my
Finances and being creative oftentimes don't mix. My first video at 500 views, one of those views was Samir, and my life changed forever. We were cobbling up a couple $100 each a month.
my 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
Okay.
Was my activity in that entire thing.
So?
I had the least amount of involvement in this shit. However, I'm taking the most of the heat for it because what's happening, I won't get too deep into family ties and shit like that, but it's very obvious. It's easy to go ahead and throw me under the bus. Very easy.
Okay. First off, the major difference between the last video that we saw, the brother who was defending Psycho Stu versus this one, is that I don't know if this brother still thinks he's in pro wrestling. It sounds like he's cutting a promo. Doug, Psycho Stu's friend, that sounded like some real ass shit. He wasn't cutting no promo. He was speaking from the heart. Who cares that you were there for only 8 minutes out of an hour and a half? What does that have to do with the conversation whatsoever? What people are questioning is that because Raja was your responsibility because you invited him
There you
there,
go.
I understand you can't have complete responsibility or control, rather, of a grown man. Irrespective of your screen time, you were involved, sir.
Let me let the people in the comment, because the comment just popped up, and let me say this, if you're going to come in here and talk shit, I will boot your ass right out of this live stream. Let's make that real clear.
Y'all talk all the shit that y'all want out of my comment section. I ain't booting any. Let's go.
calling somebody a punk and all of that shit, yeah, you will get your ass booted out of here real quick.
Straight up.
Go ahead, Agent.
Okay.
I'm a very humble, kind, and respectful man.
Sure.
I stand by a moral code.
Okay.
Not just
Whatever.
that stems from the Marine Corps, stems from my upbringing as a fucking man. One thing I am not gonna ever do is double cross another man.
What?
One thing I will never do is set up another man.
What?
What you don't know about AJ Mana, what you don't know about fucking Andre.
What?
Not the gimmick.
What? I'm sorry. Okay. Let's just keep going.
Not the gimmick.
Okay, let's take it serious. Okay.
This is Andre talking, nigga.
Okay.
You don't like that I say, hey, guess what? I'm from Compton. I left Compton when I was 12. I was adopted into a Samoan family. You know why? I don't know my father. I hardly even knew my mother. Yeah, I'm a nigga. Didn't know that, huh? AJ Mana, that's a f***ing moniker. That's a gimmick. This is Andre. My life is ruined because of your speculation. My life is ruined, and you know who you are because you decided to throw me under the bus to protect your own image, to protect what you perceive to be your own good name, when your name really ain't shit to nobody no more. Because the facts are out there. And I'm not afraid of you motherfuckers anymore. I've been afraid of you for 6 fucking years. I'm not afraid of you anymore. You know who I'm talking to. Like I said, nigga, this is Andre talking.
This dude is just as crazy as Raj is. But let's keep listening to how damn crazy he really is.
So let me start.
Andre, let me give you some advice, my guy. Get off the internet and go
Sad.
look her up. What are you doing? Calm
Yeah.
down, my friend. Somebody almost died. No one gives a shit about you being raised by adopted parents or you didn't have a father.
Yeah, we don't give a fuck.
Not to victimize yourself. Even within my own commentary, I question why so many people were giving you so much ish, and the way that you're doing is making you look more guilty.
From the very first 5 seconds of that video,
Okay.
Raja, who is a teammate of mine, who is the son of Quentin Rampage Jackson, the man, not a character, not what was worked into a fucking storyline. Like I said, let's deal with the facts. Facts. He was a guest. I didn't bring him to the show. I was a part of the show. Fact. I am not a promoter. Dumbasses. I am a talent. Fact. It wasn't even my idea to have a storyline with Raja. Why? I have no creative control. I don't own the f***ing company.
Oh, this is interesting.
I carried out what was told to me to f***ing do.
Oh.
Fact. I was unaware that by carrying out what I was told to do, I would then be scapegoated to protect them. Okay.
Essentially, he's saying he didn't invite Roger. He's saying that the company invited Roger.
That's not what I
Raja
heard.
gets to the door. Unbeknownst to whoever was working security, again, and I'm not gonna do names. That's what I'm not gonna do.
Okay.
The way I come up, you don't name drop.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. It's in the pulse of those who never stop getting the job done or the party started. This summer, Chevy drives America.
You don't name drop. Together. Well. So, homeboy didn't know that I had spotted a VIP ticket for Raja. There's always been discrepancies when it comes to this ticket sell shit. I've always had a good amount of people support me. For some reason, the numbers just never seem to add up. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be my pockets were always empty and his dolls were really filled? Do I really need to get into that? Nah, we're dealing with facts, right? Okay, so for some reason or another, his name wasn't on the list. So guess what? I forked up another $30 to get his name on the VIP list. Why? Because Unbeknownst to the production, at the time, the day prior, there was a meeting with myself, Raja, and his pops.
Okay.
About beginning a collaboration as they are doing this, what you call this shit name? This live stream shit. What was that?
Okay, yeah.
Right? Hey, that's
that changes the context.
Well, it turns out they had millions of followers.
Yeah.
This shit was popping.
Yep.
Rampage said to me, you know what? I see you've been working hard to get your name out there, but it's something just ain't clicking. Like, people know who you are, but bro, like, if you get on this stream shit with us, like, people gonna talk shit, and they did. People gonna talk shit, you know, they gonna fuck, they gonna rage bait you and all that. But just, you know, just be cool about it, and you know, people following you up, and it did. It really did. So then we started talking about, okay, what if we bring this stream over to Knox Pro? It'll be good for them and it'll be good for you. Raja was there on business. Raja wasn't there, and look, that leads me to the camp. We'll get to that. Because y'all out here trying to say this whole thing was a work. This whole thing from the jump was a part of the storyline that went.
It was not no work.
And for those
I can say that for a fact.
I'm dealing in facts, right? I'm not going to perpetuate the bullshit that you want.
This was not working in any way, shape, or form. Raj had no clue what was going on. I still don't understand why Stu thought it was a work. But the thing is, Stu did apologize. It as we all saw, it was Raj who couldn't let it go.
Not me to put out there. Well, I can't say put out there because most of you told me to shut the fuck up and not say anything and let it die out. No, you didn't want this to die out. You wanted me to fucking die. That's what you wanted. That's why you wanted me to say nothing. So thank God for people like CT that saw through the bullshit. There was no storyline because Raja wasn't there to be a part of the show. Raja was a guest.
All right, so let's say that they did have this meeting, and I'm likely to believe that there was some type of meeting because these live streamers have their schedules all planned out, so maybe it was a part of some, whatever storyline that Raja was having on his channel, and he even felt obligated, even after receiving the concussion, to fulfill the obligation. But even still, if there was a conversation and it was being set up that you were bringing him in, is it not your obligation, or at least the promoter's obligation, the school's obligation, to inform everybody that you have a potential high-profile person that is coming in that's going to be good for business? Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened, and found out that there's companies out there called data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off. But they do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now, and let us also not forget that Rampage has been involved with legitimate WWE events, so he's familiar with these different types of environments. He knows how the business works. Rampage could have also explained this to his son in different terms, such as selling something before Raja went down there. But I guess how could have anyone anticipated that Psycho Stu would hit him with that can with that inevitable response? By the way, Rampage recently said something in regards to this whole thing. Let's play that clip.
You know, it's hard for me to talk about it, but you know, I'm just keep it 100. You know, I feel bad about what happened to Psycho Stu. I don't condone what my son did at all.
Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes, and we'll spot you up to $200. Plus, you'll...
Oh. Going down to a bowling alley with some hoes after your son almost killed a man is wild. I guess these
that's wild as hell.
By any means necessary.
It's very unfortunate. If I was there, things went that, but you know what I'm saying? I wasn't there.
It should have been party over.
You know, I gotta have my son's back, but I'm gonna let justice, you know, play out, take this course. Ain't much I can do on that side, but be a father. Y'all know I can't talk about this shit. I can't talk about any details and stuff like that. I can't really go into nothing. I hope y'all can respect that. This shit put me in like a bad mood. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad about Psycho Stu and his family. His family had to see that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I just wish I could have been there, but I couldn't. Shit is wild.
We almost done, y'all.
Shit all over the internet. So, you know, I see a lot of people editing stupid shit for clickbaits and stuff like that, and they make money and shit.
What's that to clickbait?
A lot of racist people showing their true colors and stuff.
Bro.
But, you know, all this shit, you can't stop none of that shit.
What is there to clickbait, Rampage? Your son almost took a man up out of here. The fuck is you talking about?
But you know, I'm not, you know, taking up for my son or anything like that. I'm just telling you guys facts. You know what I'm saying?
Stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Would do.
Defend your son.
Being a father is hard moments like this. Sometimes you're proud of your kids, and sometimes you're not proud of your kids. But at the end of the day, you're still a father. Hopefully, one day I can.
And from what I'm hearing, Rampage, you weren't much of a father.
And have a man-to-man with him and stuff like that, but who knows? And I'm just gonna try to like get back to being myself. I don't got the right words to say, and I know whatever I say,
it's gonna get screwed.
The haters gonna try to twist my words and say whatever they want to say, but you know, I wasn't there. I was learning with on at the same rate as everybody else.
You weren't there, my brother, but you know, I wonder if he truly regrets this friendship, the type of friendship that he has with his son, knowing that he called him as the son was going through this crisis or was about to hit, you know, probably the worst thing that he's ever done within his life, right? And he's calling him gay in the middle of it, and you know, of course, he's not going to talk about that right now, and I bet you deep down, he severely regrets that treatment.
Jackson is going to be the son that I always wanted. He's going to be a bleed eater and a bitch lover. And he's going to fight. He's going to be the epitome of me. Something that you ain't. My adopted African, I'm going to adopt your son from Africa that look just like you. Then you'll be like, damn, I should have ate these bitches with my dad.
Y'all heard that right. Rampage, you failed. You failed pitifully, Rampage.
It's crazy. Yeah, I know.
And I would offer that, you know, whenever Raja gets out of prison and if they still doing content, that will never be a part of their content, that bullying shit into the future. What I also find interesting is he's not confirming or denying anything about kind of a confirmation of that this wrestling show was going to happen and that Rampage talked to the promoters what AJ Ono was saying. Let's finish up.
Then I got down to the bottom of it and I learned there's a lot of misinformation out there. So guys, don't believe every edit and stuff that you see. Y'all need to know that I don't condone Roger's conduct. And I hope Psycho Stu can forgive me, myself, as a dad. Because for not understanding everything, you know what I'm saying? And let's see what happens from here. I'm not talking about that shit no more. I'm not talking about that shit no more. I'm done with that. I'm moving on.
Raja was my VIP. Raja was there for business. I then get Raja to the block, introducing him to the owner / promoter, whose name I will not mention. He knows who the f he is, and that's all that matters.
If you want to find out, Google the shit.
Yeah. I'm not the owner or the promoter. Let's make that clear. I'm the talent. Was. Fucks. Introduce him. Now, on my way to introducing him to the owner, I bypassed several wrestlers, several people, several others that were not talent in that locker room. We're talking about outside the fucking venue. A locker room setup outside. Okay? For those that wanted to pander to this idea of this 1980s mentality of kayfabe. Kayfabe is dead, which is, I don't know if you're aware. The curtain was pulled back long ago.
It
so
was.
stop trying to use that kayfabe bullshit. Alright? And then if you want to talk about kayfabing the fucking boys in the locker room and all that shit, well, don't have your wife in there. Don't have your mama in there. Don't have your girlfriend in there. Don't have your nieces and your nephews and shit in there. They did. But let me bring somebody in that's there for business that don't really look like everybody else that was in there, or we got a problem.
Style and substance in the GMC.
Yeah.
The kayfabing comment is absolutely new for me. I actually just Googled it. The fact or convention of presenting stage performances as genuine or authentic. You learn something new every damn day. Let's proceed.
That part.
So I want to ask plainly and clearly, in particular about the wrestler that said that he thought that Raja was talent or worker.
I made it very clear who Raja was from the jump. In fact, I introduced Raja before he even walked up into that general vicinity as being the son of Rampage and a live streamer who is currently rolling right now. Rolling? Yeah, his camera's on as he is live right now. Is that okay? Oh yeah, his dad's who? Oh, Rampage? Oh yeah. Hey, tell him to bring his dad too. Get his dad over here. This is great. This is good for us. It's good for business. It'll be good for all of us. Go ahead, record whatever you want. Tell me if I'm fucking lying. As the Lord God Almighty is my witness, there will not be a lie that comes out of my mouth. That part. So we get past that. All of that is ascertained. He is there on business or for business. Not to do business in the show, to promote the show, to promote me, to promote himself. It was a cross-collaborative agreement.
Why didn't nobody else say this?
Simple as that. Which leads into the next detail.
Why didn't Rampage himself say this?
What are you doing? Types.
Somebody here is lying. He's saying that everybody knew in the area that he was a worker. Well, Raja didn't know, apparently. Everybody knows that pro wrestling is not real. It's fabricated conflict, stage tension. So let's just say that Psycho Stu knew and he was just trying to play it up. Maybe he thought that Raja knew and that Raja was going to follow through. Again, my point, how didn't Raja know? If you're saying that everyone is aware around him, how didn't Raja know? At least this gives us additional context that there's more that meets the eye.
He didn't know because this SOB is lying. And that's why Roger didn't know.
The bully. I'm not going to expound too much on that because it's very fucking sensitive right now, considering the fact that one of my brothers is currently in the hospital. Yeah, I said it. My brother. He's got the same tattoo on his fucking forearm because he's a cowboy from the fucking Double Six Reds, just like myself. Y'all want to suggest that somehow I would set up my own brother? Y'all want to push this fucking narrative that me, not the gimmick, the fucking human being.
Yes, that's a good question. So they gave you to a work after the altercation?
After the altercation, yes, sir. After the fact. Now let me get to that. Y'all saw the fucking video. I don't even know why there's like questions about this. It is so cut and dry. It's so obvious. But y'all let these celebrities fucking get on here that you've been marking out for years and just gaslight the fuck out of you. The proof is in the fucking pudding. Yes, he went too fucking far. We don't have to ascertain whether or not he went too far.
Yeah, but the setup is important enough.
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm gonna take you through every fucking experience I had. I'm trying to absolve myself right now of these false allegations that I somehow, what was the term? I prompted the
instigator?
Or somehow was
attempted, attempted murder, an accessory to attempted murder.
Now,
that's a very fucking serious allegation.
AJ said that we no way condone
unaliving. You can't say that anymore. Unaliving.
All the actions of Rodney. Now, I don't condone everything he done, but there's more to the story than you know.
And that's why this conversation is so important.
This is the opportunity, which is why Pops hit me up like, get your ass to my house. Because I've tried.
You're the guy with the gun, the person who would do anything to protect the ones you love. But did you know you could go?
Like I said, I was told to keep my mouth shut. So I tried to handle it in-house. Most of the entire f***ing group is pointing fingers at me saying, that's your boy you're responsible for. I am not responsible for what another grown-ass man decides to do. I'm not. If I have a brother who decides to break into someone else's house and shit in their kitchen sink, is that my responsibility? That would be theirs. Although there is a connection, their actions are not mine. Their actions, I do not pay for. Again, I don't condone it, but I'm not liable.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I agree with him here, which is why on the Douglas video, right, I think I made a comment as to say, I think Douglas just don't like this guy, and he added a bunch of spice or sauce on top of the situation with his name in it. The analogy with the friend taking a dump in the crib is a great analogy. And, you know, to a degree, you can say the same thing for his father. Rampage is not ultimately responsible for Raja's actions, although there's a degree of offline culpability because of the behavior or the friendship that he had with his son. But we need to stop calling Raja a kid. He's a 25-year-old grown adult and has to be accountable for his actions. Because at that age, there is no damn excuse.
No. Was there a waiver signed for my match? Was there a waiver signed for any match that I've been in the past 6 fucking years? We're dealing in facts now. Waiver? Really? You guys saw the fucking video. This is my frustration. Was there a waiver? You saw everything in the video. That camera never stopped rolling. That camera was on me the entire time.
That kick camera never did stop rolling.
And to protect Raja. To prevent bullshit speculation. The part in the fucking segment, as this was a vignette, unbeknownst to you motherfuckers that are saying that I put a hit out on him, you didn't know that was a part of the fucking storyline, did you? No. I'm jumping ahead because I'm frustrated. Check it out.
No, take your time, brother.
We done already introduced the owner and Raja. Raja recognize some of the talent because Raja has been following my career since I fucking started in professional wrestling. You know why? Because it was Raja. It was Pop Shit. It was my aunts. It was Red that pulled up to my very first fucking wrestling match 6 years ago. So there was certain talent there in the locker room. Raja's like, oh shit, you're this, you're such and such. Oh shit, you're such and such. And then up walks someone. But don't worry about them. You know who I am? Oh no, I don't know who you are. Well, you should. I'm such and such. I don't know who the fuck that is. Bop! Need I say more? That wasn't a work. That wasn't a fucking storyline. That was a fucking shoot. For those that are offended at the fact that I just told the truth, fuck you. Because now my fucking life is ruined over your lives. So, fuck you.
Before you tell your story, before we went live, we were talking. I mean, if you're okay talking about it, just how this has impacted your life, your personal life.
I got a call from a fucking job. We saw the TMZ video.
Done.
You're an accessory to an attempted murder. We gotta let you go.
Unfortunately.
Unleash the power of precision with Diablo's Wood Demon Ultimate Pop.
I'm gonna pay my fucking bills because y'all niggas want clickbait.
So clearly, the one point that I really want to overemphasize is that he knew beforehand that Raja was not a worker. He was not a worker. He knew that beforehand. But if you just look at the video, it looks like, oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know. But from somebody that was there, that's not true.
Yep, and that's the problem. Hearing that side of the story is the part
in the video.
Go ahead.
You can see in the video where the promoter goes, "Whoa." Well, you know what? We're so sorry. And they're trying to work the shit out of Raja. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. Look. I know you're hot. Just calm down. We're gonna work this out. What they were really saying was, we don't want a lawsuit. We don't want a lawsuit, so we need an alibi. We need an alibi quick. Because a fan just got assaulted. We need an alibi now. Think quickly.
He's explaining the answer to your question right now. He says, okay, if Raja was not a worker, then why was he in the ring? Listen to this.
I'm getting to it right damn now.
Alright, go ahead.
An alibi. What's the alibi? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a worker. I'm sorry. Really? Are we good? We good? Raja's like, nah, we ain't good. You just cracked me over the f***ing head. Not with a prop. Can I borrow that, please?
Yeah, clear that up for me, because everybody said it was a prop can.
That was not that was a real damn can.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ruin some water here. Okay? Let me give you a little secret about professional wrestling. When it comes to a beer can, you know what I'm gonna do with a beer can? Excuse me for a second.
Yeah. The can was real.
What I'm gonna do with a fucking prop, if I want to make a beer can a prop that's not gonna hurt or cause a mess or lacerations or anything, I'm gonna empty the fucking liquid out. Look at the video. The shit exploded over the temple of Raja's head. You know why? Because they didn't empty it out. And it didn't flat out like that. You know why? It was a fresh fucking beer. Hello? What is alcohol doing in the the locker room? Why are we getting intoxicated before the f***ing show? Every f***ing show.
I hate to say it. He actually has a point. Why was a beer can out there? He does got a point.
For 6 years. And tell me if I'm lying, mother. Because I did it with you.
At least we're getting some answers as to whether or not it was a prop can or not. I know there was a lot of speculation on the internet whether or not it was. I thought that it wasn't either because, you know, the alcohol squirted about it.
Yeah, that part. You want to bury me? You're all coming down with me. I'm that mother.
All right, so let me say this is my thing. If Pops, how many wrestling events have we been to? We've been to a few of them backstage.
Yeah, we've been.
If I'm walking backstage and a motherfucker hit me in the head with a can, we fight right then and there.
Damn right.
The issue I have with the initial parts of this is, why would you, again, even if you assume he's a worker, why would you just walk up to somebody and hit him in the head with a can? That part, I don't understand that, and how people are trying to justify that shit. Again,
I'm gonna answer that right now.
You already told me that you introduced them to everybody. So
don't worry, I got you. I understand why you're upset. Trust me, I totally understand that. Don't y'all think I'm trying to justify what was done. By no means am I trying to justify this shit because it was dumb. It was dumb from the start. The finish was all dumb. That wasn't even a part of the story. But let me get to that, please.
Okay.
Before y'all judge me any further, just please let me explain. Because I was a big part of this shit. Promoter says, since this is already on camera, and you can go watch it for yourself, like I said, the tape never stopped running. Since this is already on film, let's go ahead and use it. Let's make it a part of the show. Show. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, I'll give you a chance to go in on during his match, and you know you get your lick back. You see, I said seat. I didn't say lick back. I said seat. You know what a receipt is? Here, I'll do it in pro wrestling. I'll do it to my.
Explain that for the people.
I'll do it. I will literally give myself a receipt right now. You ready? That's a receipt. That's all I told Roger to do. The only thing I told Roger to do was give him a fucking receipt because that's what the promoter wanted to do, to fucking be done. The promoter sent me away with Roger to work out the details. Watch the video. I didn't tell him to go beat that man. One punch. Y'all dumb as.
And I see a little. Do you see the video of that 6-inch?
Now, we will never know for certain whether or not Raja understands the definition of a receipt. What's not on that video is someone explaining explicitly what a receipt is. But regardless, though, ain't nobody on God's green earth that thinks that a receipt is beat until almost dead. Every blow that was raining down on Psycho Stu, it was meant from the bullying from his audience, his father, to the ego power with a little dash of post-concussive syndrome on top of that. Let's finish up.
The clip where Ryan was live streaming and he said that they didn't tell me to pull punches, or they didn't tell me, they didn't, tell me.
No, they pulled him aside after we hashed everything out. They pulled him aside. By the way, that video where I'm telling Roger to fucking hit homeboy, that was a part of the fucking build up to what was about to happen later on in the fucking show. Just so you know, somebody pulled him aside after and then says to him, and you can get this validated as well. Pulled him aside, some fucking jabroni from the fucking goddamn bullshit production team comes up to him and says, no, don't just throw one punch. You can slam him and keep hitting him until we come in there and pull you off. Now who the set that up? And guess where I was? Nowhere in the fucking building. You know why? Because I was getting ready for my match. I had a match. I was getting dressed out, getting ready to hit the road for another fucking gig. So I was out of there. I had nothing to do with the show from that point on. When my shit was done, I was out. So for y'all insinuating that I set this shit up, you're fucking wrong.
We gotta stop with this kayfabe shit. This is beyond like all this. No
kayfabe is dead. Shut the fuck up.
There was not a clip that I've seen that shows someone else telling that to Raja. I'd love to see if that was recorded. If they got that on tape, it completely changes the context of this situation, and I would say it would completely exonerate AJ Mana. If anyone finds that clip, make sure that you send it to me.
Shout out to MTR for this
intense
last
detail.
clip.
I'll leave a link to this podcast down in the comment box down below. As you can see, there's an hour more of damn content. Man, this entirety of the situation, man, there's so many lessons to learn. There's so many different actions that could have been taken. There's so many results, so many stories, so many solutions, right? When thinking through the impact of parasocial relationships, the impact of a father, bullying in public versus giving feedback or chastising in private, right? There's so many different concepts, right? Like the mismanagement of an organization, alcohol involvement, the controlling of talent, backstage politics. There's so many different angles in this, and the idea that all of this was taped, well, at least components of it, because he's making claims that were not taped, adds to the interest of this. But at the end of the day, for AJ Mana, I think that you should have gotten an attorney rather than going live and letting the public know about this emotional rant. I understand why you're upset, but you could be implicating yourself, right? This is like talking to the cops when you and your team got busted for something. You keep your mouth shut until you can get an attorney to represent you, all right? Because anything that you're saying could be utilized within the court of law. But again, I understand your frustrations because your life is being turned upside down by the implications of being connected to Raja and inevitably what he did. So I understand your need to tell your side, but all of this is just public opinions at this point. Even Raja hasn't been arrested yet. So the less information that you give out, the better for you, because you are still covered by aspects of the law. But here's what I want people to take out of this entire situation is that the influence is real, right? Social media, live stream chats, the peer pressure, the clout chasing, they all have the power to push people. Now, I would say it's more weak-minded or less mature people into deciding to do something that they would have never made unless they were online. But the damn internet now will touch some grass sometime, because maturity is knowing when to drown out all of the noise and stay disciplined. Stay locked and tuned to the channel. I'm gonna make sure I keep you guys updated on this situation, and until next time, peace.
I'll see y'all later. Peace.